Michael Anderson nudged Catherine Williams, but she didn't react. He frowned. Passed out. Turning Catherine Williams over to check, he confirmed she had indeed lost consciousness. Michael Anderson scoffed, truly reckless. With such little endurance, you dare provoke me? Briefly washing Catherine Williams, wrapping a towel around her, Michael Anderson lifted her and tossed her into the living room. As he left, Michael Anderson suddenly remembered something, turned back, bent down, pressed his lips to Catherine Williams's neck, and sucked hard. When he raised his head, a suggestive hickey, just as he intended, marked Catherine Williams's neck. It was summer now. This mark couldn't be concealed by clothing. Tomorrow, this woman would surely go crazy. Michael Anderson, a satisfied smirk playing on his lips, departed the room. The world shifted hues, marking the commencement of a new day. Catherine Williams awoke, her lower back throbbing with a pain so intense that even the slightest movement felt like a fracture, prompting a string of silent curses. Recalling Michael Anderson's bestial behavior from the previous day, she gritted her teeth, muttering, "Animal." Yet, the necessity of preparing breakfast for this very animal compelled her to endure the discomfort, rise from the bed, don some attire, and hastily descend the stairs. In the living room below, Michael Anderson, his long legs elegantly crossed, sat leisurely perusing a newspaper, and remarked to Catherine Williams with nonchalance, "I've yet to encounter a housekeeper who rises later than the homeowner." Catherine Williams strode forward, snatched the newspaper from Michael Anderson's grasp, and glared at him, declaring, "I am the cook, not the housekeeper." Michael Anderson's gaze shifted, landing upon the telltale love bite on Catherine Williams' neck, a satisfied smirk gracing his lips. Catherine Williams, registering the anomaly, swiftly retreated to the bathroom. Not long after, Catherine Williams' enraged voice echoed from the bathroom, "Animal." She emerged, pointing at Michael Anderson, accusing, "You did this on purpose. Damn it." How many scrutinizing gazes would she have to endure throughout the day because of this? "Weren't you always seeking to leverage something against me? You could inform the press that this mark was left on you by the mayor." Michael Anderson rose, pausing as he passed Catherine Williams, a slight smirk playing on his lips, "Let's see if you can truly exert any influence over me." Catherine Williams was startled. Had Michael Anderson been aware of her attempts to uncover his weaknesses all along? She had always believed her efforts were well concealed. How could he have possibly discerned her intentions? Good heavens, the being you have created is truly terrifying. Catherine Williams proceeded to prepare breakfast, her mind preoccupied with the question of whether or not to resort to that particular measure. How could someone as meticulous as Michael Anderson possibly have any exploitable weaknesses? However, if she were to truly employ that tactic, wouldn't Michael Anderson simply retaliate with a bullet? After much hesitation, a fragrant pot of porridge was prepared, accompanied by 2 appetizers. As the meal neared its end, Catherine Williams reiterated her request from the previous day to Michael Anderson, about that, "Could you pick me up after work?" Anticipating his refusal, she quickly added, "I'm in trouble, Michael Anderson. Someone is actually trying to capture me. You saw it yesterday, I was being pursued. Someone wanting to capture you is a positive development. Why should I intervene?" Michael Anderson responded with a look of feigned ignorance. "Then why did you help me yesterday?" "I was in a good mood yesterday, but today, I'm not," Michael Anderson declared, calmly enjoying his breakfast, displaying no trace of unease. Catherine Williams attempted to negotiate with Michael Anderson, "If you pick me up, I'll make you a delicious meal when we get home." Michael Anderson scoffed dismissively, refusing her offer. He wiped his mouth with a napkin and departed. Catherine Williams stamped her foot and pursued him, "I'll tell you everything about myself." "Not interested." Michael Anderson entered the mayoral vehicle and drove away. Chapter 31, "I warned you, bastard." Catherine Williams was on the verge of tears. She had fled again yesterday, and today, her captor would be Nicholas Harper. In other words, escape was no longer an option. If escape proves unsuccessful, then what purpose did her 2 days of striving serve? Is that measure truly the sole recourse? Arriving at the hospital, Catherine Williams, with a touch of unease, pushed open her office door. Not finding Nicholas Harper there, she exhaled in relief, but then the security guard presented her with a video. Without a doubt, the man in the video was Nicholas Harper, seated on the black leather sofa, his somber and profound aura seemingly permeating the screen. "Catherine," Nicholas Harper's voice was slow, "after work, I will come to pick you up. Wait for me obediently in the office, don't wander around." He suddenly laughed, "Otherwise, if I catch you, it won't be as simple as just locking you up. Understand?" Catherine Williams certainly understood Nicholas Harper's implication. Since she turned 18, Nicholas Harper had regarded her with an unusual gaze, deep, restrained, and she knew it was male desire. Had she not explicitly stated her unwillingness for Nicholas Harper to touch her, she would have long ago lost her virginity to him. This time, with their wedding imminent, Nicholas Harper was unlikely to relinquish her easily. After some deliberation, Catherine Williams used the office phone to contact Tina Morgan, requesting her to inform Victor Anderson that she had something crucial to discuss with Michael Anderson, and to ensure Michael Anderson picked her up after work. Now, she could only hope that Michael Anderson would, once again, be inexplicably cheerful and come to fetch her. When the workday ended, Catherine Williams intentionally lingered until after 6 o'clock. As she anticipated, Nicholas Harper arrived. Nicholas Harper displayed no anger, as if her escape 2 days prior had never occurred, taking her hand. "Let's go home." Catherine Williams instinctively tried to pull away from Nicholas Harper's grasp, but he quickly tightened his hold. "Catherine, you know I've wanted you for a long time, don't test my limits. Otherwise, I can't guarantee I won't take you right here." Hearing this, Catherine Williams became compliant. Nicholas Harper's tone could be described as gentle, but beneath that gentleness lay a ferocity she sensed. She knew he meant what he said. Upon reaching the hospital gate with Nicholas Harper, Catherine Williams stopped and declared, "Nicholas Harper, I have a boyfriend." Nicholas Harper's reaction was minimal. Catherine Williams knew it was due to his disbelief. For years, she had lived under Nicholas Harper's surveillance, him permitting no man to approach her. Consequently, she only experienced her first kiss with Michael Anderson at the age of 25. "It's true," Catherine Williams looked at Nicholas Harper seriously, "these past 2 days, I was at his place. We've been together for a while." Nicholas Harper's gaze grew cold. Suddenly, his hands gripped Catherine Williams' shoulders, his eyes filled with murderous intent. Quickly, he noticed the love bite on her neck. "What did you two do?" Nicholas Harper's voice seethed with rage. Catherine Williams could even hear his ragged breathing. "A man and a woman alone together for 2 nights, what could we have done? Moreover, we did it." Catherine Williams spoke casually, as if it were commonplace. "Catherine Williams." Nicholas Harper's fingers dug deeper into Catherine Williams' shoulders, as if to crush her. "I warned you, don't let another man touch you." "Who was it?" "Michael Anderson, the mayor of Grace City." Catherine Williams stated, "Even you wouldn't dare act rashly against him, would you?" Nicholas Harper's eyes were filled with rage. Catherine Williams was right. If the other party was Michael Anderson, he wouldn't dare to act rashly. After all, he was somewhat aware of Michael Anderson's background. No wonder he hadn't been able to find Catherine Williams' hiding place these past 2 days. "Let me go." Catherine Williams brushed Nicholas Harper's hand away. "I have to go back. If I'm late, Michael will come looking for me." "Nicholas Harper, you wouldn't want to encounter the mayor of Grace City in this situation, would you?" Nicholas Harper called Catherine Williams Catherine, but she always addressed him formally as Nicholas Harper. Yet, now she was intimately using another man's first name. At this moment, Nicholas Harper suddenly felt the urge to destroy this city that belonged to Michael Anderson. "Mr. Harper." Just then, one of Nicholas Harper's subordinates ran over, whispering a few words to him with a panicked expression. Catherine Williams could tell that something major must have happened. Nicholas Harper's expression immediately darkened. He looked at Catherine Williams. "I'll give you one night to break up with Michael Anderson. I'll pick you up tomorrow to go home." With that, Nicholas Harper and his subordinate hurriedly left. Catherine Williams shouted at his retreating figure, "No way." Nicholas Harper acted as if he hadn't heard anything, getting into his car and driving away. Catherine Williams angrily kicked the wall. After venting her frustration, she walked towards the subway station, pondering how to discuss the matter with Michael Anderson. Simultaneously, she worried about what to do if Michael Anderson's reaction wasn't what she hoped for. Lost in thought, Catherine Williams was completely oblivious to a sports car with an extravagant license plate slowly approaching her. The man in the car glanced at her, then accelerated. He didn't know why he had driven past this hospital. Catherine Williams continued walking alone on the sidewalk. It was rush hour, and the subway station was crowded. Catherine Williams squeezed through the throngs for 8 stops, then got off at the station nearest Prosperity Avenue. When she arrived back at Michael Anderson's residence, he was already home, sitting on the sofa flipping through a magazine. Catherine Williams' scalp immediately tingled. She took off her high heels, intending to sneak into the kitchen to cook. But just as she bent down, Michael Anderson's cold voice rang out, "Don't move." Caught red-handed, Catherine Williams saw no need to hide any longer. Straightening up, she replied, "Mr. Mayor, what are your instructions?" "My wife will be back tomorrow." "When you wake up, disappear," Michael Anderson said without a trace of affection. "So heartless." Catherine Williams frowned, gliding towards the kitchen. "I'll go cook first, and we can talk later." In reality, she needed time to think things through carefully. Catherine Williams quickly prepared dinner, 3 savory dishes and a soup. During the meal, Michael Anderson acted casually, while she occasionally glanced at him, her eyes filled with both apprehension and anticipation. As a result, she barely ate anything. Michael Anderson was certainly aware of Catherine Williams' glances. After finishing his meal, he wiped his mouth with a napkin, his movements indescribably elegant. "Speak." "Michael Anderson, do you like children?" Catherine Williams asked. Michael Anderson frowned. "Children are the most troublesome things in the world. But I'm pregnant." Catherine Williams looked directly into Michael Anderson's eyes, utterly serious. In an instant, the atmosphere in the house froze. Michael Anderson's sharp gaze, like a knife, darted towards Catherine Williams. Catherine Williams, unfazed, produced a medical examination report and placed it before Michael Anderson. "I've seen a doctor, and it's confirmed." Michael Anderson's eyes grew colder. "Mine? What do you mean?" Catherine Williams slammed the table, rising abruptly. "Michael Anderson, if it's not your seed, did I pollinate myself to get pregnant?" ####Chapter 32, Want to die, let's die together, what's the commotion? Michael Anderson glanced indifferently at the medical report. "Get rid of it. I'll give you whatever money you need." "What?" Catherine Williams was completely stunned. Was that all he had to say? Without a flicker of emotion, as casually as saying, "Throw away the leftovers," he told her to abort his child. "Michael Anderson," Catherine Williams' voice held a trace of disappointment, "how can you be so cold-blooded? Don't think I don't know what you're thinking." Michael Anderson sneered, his lips curling, "Trying to use the baby to force me into marriage. Clever plan, but you've miscalculated your target." He stood up. "You opened the drawer of my nightstand. You know what's inside, don't you? I'll put a bullet in your belly, and this baby will disappear too." Catherine Williams had been threatened before, but Michael Anderson's threat was absolutely the most cold-blooded and heartless. Michael Anderson wasn't joking, and she wasn't wrong. He was truly capable of shooting her in the stomach, of killing his own child. So, Michael Anderson's smile was chilling. "Obediently take the money and get rid of the baby. Don't even think about using it to threaten me." Catherine Williams gritted her teeth, silently cursing him as a bastard, then looked at Michael Anderson. "I don't need your money. I'll do as you say and get rid of the baby." Michael Anderson naturally didn't believe Catherine Williams would be so compliant. He narrowed his eyes, "And then what? What trick are you playing?" "Then I'll send the DNA comparison report of you and the baby to the press, along with the entire process of how I was forced into having an abortion." Catherine Williams stated, "Then the whole world will know how you forced me to get rid of our child." "Mr. Mayor, this is what you call a threat." Michael Anderson let out a cold laugh and abruptly grabbed Catherine Williams' hand, dragging her outside. "No one has ever been able to threaten me. You're dead. If we're going to die, we'll die together." Catherine Williams used a trick to break free from Michael Anderson, intending to strike him, but how could she be his match? Within a few moves, she was subdued. "Stupid." Michael Anderson reached into Catherine Williams' pocket, casually taking a set of car keys. Unexpectedly, Catherine Williams seized the opportunity while he was distracted and lowered her head, biting his hand. Catherine Williams used all her strength, hoping the pain would force Michael Anderson to release her. She absolutely could not go to the hospital. Damn it! The esteemed young Master Anderson had never been treated this way by a woman. His fury ignited, and he shoved Catherine Williams away, glaring at her with murderous intent. This woman was truly courting death. "Michael Anderson, even if I can't beat you in a fight, I have a way for us to die together." Catherine Williams' smile was chilling. "Don't forget, I'm a doctor. No one understands better than a doctor how to quickly end a life. If you dare to kill my child, I will take your life with me, even if it costs me mine. Do you dare threaten me?" Michael Anderson narrowed his eyes. Before Catherine Williams could clearly see his movement, he retrieved a gun from the shoe cabinet, the barrel pointed directly at her. "Remember this, in this world, no one can threaten me." Catherine Williams retreated a step, her face pale, yet her resolve remained firm. "Afraid now?" Michael Anderson exuded an aura of cold brutality. "If you're afraid, then immediately go to the hospital and get rid of the child. Unless you bury me with my child." Catherine Williams stepped forward, pressing her forehead against the gun's barrel. "Michael Anderson, you best shoot me dead now. If you lower your weapon, I will keep this child. If you dare force me to abort this child, no matter the cost, I will ruin you." Michael Anderson coldly smirked, pulling the trigger. The gunshot echoed through the night, dangerous and bizarre. He expected Catherine Williams to be frightened, to recoil, but she remained standing, unwavering. This woman unexpectedly. In that moment of Michael Anderson's hesitation, with astonishing speed, Catherine Williams seized his hand, deflecting the gun's barrel. During the struggle, the gun fired, striking a garden lamp. The sound of shattering glass resonated throughout the garden. "Michael Anderson, who are you trying to scare? It's not like I've never seen a gun before." Catherine Williams wrestled with him. "I'll count to 3, drop the weapon, or we both die." Michael Anderson didn't immediately react, only staring into Catherine Williams' eyes. The women who approached him had clear intentions, their bottomless greed evident in their eyes, even behind sunglasses. But Catherine Williams was different. She bluntly stated her desire to be the mayor's wife, her inner desires more nakedly displayed than anyone else. Yet, her eyes were clear, holding only an intense longing for him, as if she were drowning, and he was the only piece of driftwood in the vast ocean, and she desperately wanted to grasp him. They say the eyes are the windows to the soul. Through a person's eyes, their inner thoughts cannot be concealed. But this woman's acting was truly too good. "Consider yourself brave." Michael Anderson shoved Catherine Williams away. "Get back to your room." Catherine Williams, recognizing Michael Anderson's wavering from his refusal to force her to the hospital, and aware of his volatile temperament, quickly ascended the stairs, locking herself in her room. It wasn't paranoia, she genuinely feared Michael Anderson having a change of heart in the middle of the night, holding a gun to her belly, and pulling the trigger. Still shaken, Catherine Williams, sitting on her bed, heard the sound of a sports car. Rushing to the window, she only caught a glimpse of Michael Anderson's car driving away. Catherine Williams lacked the energy to care where Michael Anderson was going at this late hour. She tidied up briefly and went to bed early. Uncertain of what tomorrow held, she could only maintain her composure to cope. Clearly, Michael Anderson did not share Catherine Williams' state of mind. The expensive sports car roared through the streets, attracting countless glances, but Michael Anderson stared straight ahead, driving to a private club somewhere in the city. At the Big Tang Club, due to the special nature of its members, all employees had signed confidentiality agreements. They worked and served guests there, but upon leaving the club's gates, they would completely forget whom they had met and what those individuals had done there. The consequences of revealing the secret are unbearable for a salaried employee. As Michael Anderson entered, the waiter respectfully addressed him, "Mr. Michael," then added, "Young Master Anderson is at the fourth-floor bar." "Yes." Michael Anderson removed his suit jacket, draped it over his arm, and proceeded to the fourth floor. The bar's atmosphere remained dimly lit, despite the sparse crowd. Michael Anderson settled beside Victor Anderson, the bartender, anticipating his preference, had already prepared his usual drink. He enjoyed collecting liquors, yet indulged in neither alcohol nor tobacco. However, tonight, he drank heavily, seemingly intent on intoxication. Soon, several flamboyantly dressed women noticed Michael Anderson. One, swaying forward, placed a slender hand on his shoulder. "Mr. Michael, drinking alone is dull, may I join you?" Chapter 33, Don't be so arrogant. The woman's crimson-tipped fingers caressed Michael Anderson's shoulder, her provocative intent unconcealed. Victor Anderson, embracing a woman, scoffed, "My dear, your intelligence is concerning, recognizing the esteemed Mr. Michael, you've forgotten his treatment of forward women." However, this time, Michael Anderson defied Victor Anderson's expectations. "Certainly." Michael Anderson smirked, beckoning the bartender and addressing the woman, "What would you like to drink?" Delighted, the woman ordered a blood-red margarita, her body pressing softly against Michael Anderson. "Mr. Michael, you're so alluring." Countless women had uttered this to Michael Anderson. He was immune, his mind elsewhere as he observed her. Her drink arrived swiftly. Michael Anderson lightly clinked glasses with her, then drained his own. "Mr. Michael, you're a strong drinker." The woman leaned closer, "Just looking at you, Michael Anderson smirked, encircling her head with his arm, as if to kiss her. She yielded, collapsing into his embrace, her body rubbing against his, eyes closed in anticipation. As his lips neared hers, he paused. Women frequenting such establishments. His severe obsessive-compulsive disorder prevented him. "Get lost." He shoved her away unceremoniously. She stumbled, falling with a thud. "Oh dear." Victor Anderson gaped theatrically, encouraging the fallen woman, "Don't be discouraged, my dear, you almost succeeded." He then addressed Michael Anderson. "Michael, are you all right?" His gaze was pointed. Michael Anderson kicked Victor Anderson fiercely. "Get the hell out of here." Victor Anderson raised an eyebrow. "So, what's the meaning of rejecting such a sexy lady? Do you think I'm like you, eating whenever I'm hungry?" Michael Anderson sneered. "You're so picky, yet you ended up with a female urologist." Victor Anderson feigned incomprehension. "What a peculiar taste. What does it matter to you? Don't let me hear you use that condescending tone to mention my woman again." Michael Anderson lifted the freshly poured glass of liquor, tilted his head back, and drained it in one gulp, his expression somewhat irritated. He himself didn't even know what he was irritated about. Victor Anderson mentally repeated Michael Anderson's 4 words, "my woman," then joined him in drinking. Michael, from a respectable family, had maintained his purity for 28 years, yet he had just acknowledged a female urologist as his woman. Intuition told Victor Anderson that there was an interesting story to uncover, but he couldn't act while Michael Anderson was sober, so, get him drunk. Michael Anderson's sullen mood, coupled with Victor Anderson's instigation, led him to drink liquor like water. Although he didn't drink often, his alcohol tolerance was quite good, yet he became intoxicated early today and had to be escorted home by Victor Anderson. On the way back, Victor Anderson inquired in various ways, but still couldn't extract any information about the mayor's romantic affairs, so he sighed, took him home, and silently exclaimed, "Truly worthy of the mayor, even drunk, his mouth remained shut." After bringing Michael Anderson home, Victor Anderson was still debating whether to find someone to care for him or just leave him lying on the floor, regardless of his fate, when Catherine Williams, dressed in sleepwear, descended from the second floor. Catherine Williams, having just woken up, went downstairs for a drink and unexpectedly found Michael Anderson, completely drunk, being helped home. "You." Victor Anderson was even more surprised, his hand trembling as he pointed at Catherine Williams. You and Michael Anderson live together." "Something like that." Catherine Williams asked suspiciously, "Michael Anderson, what's wrong with him?" "No wonder." Victor Anderson glanced at Michael Anderson. "No wonder this guy isn't interested in any other woman, turns out he's hiding a prize at home." Having said that, Victor Anderson helped Michael Anderson upstairs under Catherine Williams' puzzled gaze, momentarily careless, and simply dumped Michael Anderson into the open room. It was the guest room where Catherine Williams was staying. Afterwards, Victor Anderson instructed Catherine Williams to take care of Michael Anderson, and after finishing his instructions, quickly disappeared. Catherine Williams looked at Michael Anderson lying on the bed. Take care of him? Was she insane? On the contrary, how could she miss such a good opportunity to blackmail Michael Anderson? Catherine Williams climbed onto the bed and quickly removed Michael Anderson's clothes. It must be said, this guy's physique was truly top-notch, even top male models on the runway would probably feel insecure next to him. Just as she liked it. Taking Michael Anderson's phone, opening the camera, activating continuous shooting mode, snapping a few dozen photos, Catherine Williams logged into her email, uploaded the photos for storage, and then leisurely erased any trace. Finally, Catherine Williams went to Michael Anderson's room, found a few ties, tied his hands to the headboard, and sat beside him, slowly bringing him back to consciousness. Perhaps because she had just woken up, Catherine Williams wasn't very sleepy, so she played quite cheerfully, poking Michael Anderson's shoulder while looking at his face. She knew this man was handsome, but now, observing him so blatantly, she felt captivated. He seemed even more handsome, and his eyelashes were beautiful. The length perfectly suited his features, the shade just right, even when he was asleep with his eyes closed, enough to mesmerize. This individual appears to be meticulously predesigned by a divine entity, then flawlessly brought into existence. Otherwise, how could such perfection be attained? Amidst her wandering thoughts, Catherine Williams observed Michael Anderson's furrowed brow, indicating his imminent awakening, and proceeded to pat his handsome face. Village elder. Arise. Demons have infiltrated the village. At this juncture, Michael Anderson abruptly ceased all movement, leaving Catherine Williams perplexed. Then, his eyes snapped open, his dark pupils gleaming like luminous jewels in the nocturnal obscurity, his gaze fixed on Catherine Williams with a chilling wariness. Had his hands been unbound, he undoubtedly would have lunged to constrict her throat. Damn it. Catherine Williams gasped, Michael Anderson, are you attempting to frighten me to death? In the instant his eyes sprang open, her mind conjured images of reanimated corpses and vampires. Michael Anderson's gaze fell upon his hands, bound to the headboard. His countenance swiftly darkened. Within 3 seconds, Michael Anderson grasped the situation, then leisurely addressed Catherine Williams. A novel position? Consider it as such. Catherine Williams settled onto the edge of the bed. Mr. Mayor, have you experimented with this arrangement? She drew down the covers, playfully prodding his shoulder. My, such exquisite skin. Michael Anderson's lips curled into a smirk. What are your intentions? To compel you to register our marriage. Catherine Williams' slender, elegant hand caressed Michael Anderson's chest. Otherwise, you shall experience the sensation of countless ants traversing your body. Michael Anderson arched an eyebrow. I dare you to attempt it. One does not shed tears until confronted with the coffin. Young lady, refrain from excessive arrogance. Hashtag Chapter 34, Your stupidity knows no bounds. I shall flaunt my arrogance for your observation. Catherine Williams smiled. Endeavor not to faint upon hearing this. In a moment of amusement, I captured several dozen images of you unclothed. Should these images be disseminated? A blatant threat, undeniably. Yet, Michael Anderson remained unperturbed. I doubt you possess the audacity to photograph me in a state of undress. Catherine Williams, oblivious to Michael Anderson's true objective, retrieved his phone, activated it, located the images, the entire process consuming less than 30 seconds. However, upon turning back to Michael Anderson, she found him sitting upright, the remnants of his tie strewn upon the headboard. You! Damn it! How did this man accomplish such a feat? Catherine Williams' escape attempt was thwarted by Michael Anderson's extended arm, which seized her like a small creature and deposited her upon the bed. Employing such methods to entice me. I approve. Michael Anderson restrained Catherine Williams' limbs. Young lady, you truly possess a disregard for life and death. Entice you? Nonsense. I would never engage in such a humiliating act. Catherine Williams glared at Michael Anderson. Release me. If you dare to act improperly, I shall distribute your nude photographs for global admiration. Michael Anderson laughed. Are you not afraid? Catherine Williams inquired, perplexed. My physique is hardly something to conceal. What cause is there for fear? Michael Anderson's expression conveyed the sentiment, young lady, your stupidity knows no bounds. Catherine Williams conceded defeat. And you, have you contemplated your own demise? Michael Anderson leaned down, gripping Catherine Williams' chin. I perceived you as merely temperamental, but unexpectedly, your audacity is considerable. Naturally, my audacity surpasses the dimensions of your little man. Catherine Williams struggled, once again attempting to engage Michael Anderson in physical altercation. Michael Anderson swiftly pinned Catherine Williams down. I prefer your compliant form. Don't. Catherine Williams struggled. Michael Anderson, let me go. When you bound me, did you not consider this outcome? Michael Anderson's blood surged. Catherine Williams's violent struggles threatened to drag him down with her. Left with no alternative, he secured her wrists to the headboard with the same tie she had used to restrain him. Pervert. Catherine Williams cursed vehemently. I should thank you for your excellent instruction. Behave yourself, or later. I might actually end your life. You wouldn't dare. Catherine Williams smiled. Even as mayor, murder has consequences. Do you believe I haven't killed before? Yet, I remain. As a doctor, you're aware of methods to dispose of a body discreetly, leaving no trace, not even a hair, correct? Catherine Williams's complexion rapidly paled. She had heard of what Michael Anderson spoke. I thought you were truly fearless. Michael Anderson scoffed. Rest assured, I won't kill you before I'm satisfied. That night, both were utterly spent. Ultimately, if Catherine Williams hadn't fainted, the savage spectacle of their mutual assault would have continued. They both slept a death-like slumber, awakening to broad daylight. Due to Catherine Williams's excessive ordeal the previous night, Michael Anderson was the first to awaken. Upon opening his eyes, the first thing Michael Anderson saw was Catherine Williams's face mere inches from his own. Mere inches indeed, the woman lay nestled in his embrace. When had he drawn her close? And hadn't pushed her from the bed all night. He had anticipated her absence upon waking, yet she remained, peacefully within his arms. The events of the previous night fragmented and replayed before Michael Anderson. He massaged his temples. The woman at the bar had been demonstrably more alluring than Catherine Williams, so why? Was this considered aberrant? After some deliberation, Michael Anderson remained clueless, only vaguely sensing his impending deviation from normalcy. He rose, left the bed, and returned to his room. Damn it! He would simply resolve this woman's situation permanently. Catherine Williams, the unwitting target of murderous intent, awoke, her body aching, even more so than the first time. Damn! That animal, Anderson. Catherine Williams arose and searched for Michael Anderson, kicking open his door to find him dressing. Michael Anderson's back was turned, affording her a clear view of the red scratches adorning his back, like a map etched onto his skin. Catherine Williams silently applauded herself, well done. However, it wasn't enough. Michael Anderson. Catherine Williams strode in, glaring at him. What is it? Michael Anderson calmly nodded his tie. Last night, you. Catherine Williams found herself speechless. Seeking retribution for last night. Michael finished tying his tie and turned gracefully, familiar with the saying. What goes around comes around. Indeed, that very saying had silenced Catherine Williams. The blame rested solely on her underestimation of Michael. However, the same principle applies. Losing the battle doesn't mean losing the war. Catherine Williams glanced down at Michael's groin. I'd like to steal the cock, but unfortunately, it's still a spring chicken. Stealing it wouldn't be satisfying at all. Michael's face darkened, predictably. Catherine Williams scoffed contemptuously. Challenging a female urologist? Stupid. Michael, for last night's grudge, I won't let you off the hook. Michael smirked. He, on the contrary, wanted to see how this woman intended to not let him off the hook. Catherine Williams turned and left Michael's room, returning to her own living room to shower and change. Once downstairs, the housekeeper had finished preparing breakfast. Catherine Williams then remembered that the housekeeper Michael had hired had returned today. He wanted her gone by the end of the day. This place was her only haven. For her future, she had to win over Michael and find a way to stay. You haven't packed your things yet? Michael frowned, seeing Catherine Williams hadn't brought her luggage downstairs. If I still see you here after work this afternoon, I'll make sure you never leave this place. Michael, we need to talk, Catherine Williams said. I must stay here. Michael pointed to the glass of cold water on the table. Do you need me to help you sober up? Aside from the price, we have nothing to discuss. I will not abandon the baby. Catherine Williams's stance was unwavering. Consider it my child, I'm very willing to help you, Michael said, cold and heartless. 5 million, girl, you'd best listen obediently. Catherine Williams scoffed, I'll give you 10 million to go die. Say that again. Oh, don't worry, you'll get the money. Burning 10 million in hell money only takes a few minutes. Catherine Williams spread her hands. See? I can also throw money at you, and I'm even more generous. So, you think it's not enough money? Michael signed a blank check and threw it at Catherine Williams. Is this enough? Catherine Williams didn't even glance at the check. Michael, I've already said, I only want you. Why are you so foolish? If I have you, won't I have your money? No matter how you look at it, getting both the person and the possessions is the smarter choice. Hashtag chapter 35, have you finally changed your mind? Michael narrowed his eyes, suddenly realizing that arguing with this woman would never lead to a resolution. He stepped forward, grabbed Catherine Williams's hand, and forcibly dragged her out. Hey, where are you taking me? Catherine Williams struggled fiercely. Michael, shouldn't you be well versed in the nation's laws? Do you really not know that murder is punishable by death? If you touch me, it's 2 lives for 1. Only a cold smile remained on Michael's lips. Bastard! Let me go. Catherine Williams, never one to be subdued by a man, tried to bite Michael, but he dodged, not even needing to look at her to know what she was attempting. Damn it! Michael truly intended to take Catherine Williams to a private clinic, but just as they reached the garage door, his phone rang. It was his home number, his grandmother calling. He had to release Catherine Williams and step aside to answer. This phone call saved Catherine Williams. When Michael Anderson returned, his complexion remained unpleasant, but the murderous aura had lessened. Catherine Williams looked warily at Michael Anderson. "If you dare to touch me, I will risk my life against you." "Do you think your life is enough to risk against me?" Michael Anderson sneered. "What is your name?" Catherine Williams was speechless. Damn it. She had been calling him Michael Anderson this whole time, and he still didn't know her name. She was determined not to tell him. "Call me sister," Catherine Williams said. "Why are you so insistent on marrying me?" Michael Anderson asked again. "Nonsense. If it weren't for the fact that I gave you my virginity and am pregnant with your child, I would have already gone with Benedict Carter." Michael Anderson frowned. "Who is Benedict Carter?" "The man I've had a crush on for 2 years. Michael Anderson searched through his mind for everyone he knew, but still couldn't figure out who Benedict Carter was. He was perplexed. Catherine Williams carefully observed Michael Anderson's eyes. "Have you finally changed your mind? Don't get too cocky." Michael Anderson warned. "You stay here for now, I need time to think about how to handle this child." Catherine Williams didn't know what had caused Michael Anderson to change his mind, but she could finally stay here, which meant she was safe. But there was still one more thing. "What about the marriage registration?" Catherine Williams said, "My goal is to be the mayor's wife." Michael Anderson scoffed. "Comparatively, you have a better chance with this Benedict Carter person." Catherine Williams also laughed. "Don't worry, if I manage to win over my dream guy, I'll definitely kick you into the Pacific Ocean." Michael Anderson gritted his teeth. This damned girl, how dare she treat him like nothing? Blind fool. Stupid to death. At this moment, Michael Anderson's close bodyguard approached and whispered a reminder. "Mayor, we should depart now." Michael Anderson glanced at Catherine Williams with a look of disdain, then walked towards his car. Catherine Williams thought for a moment, then followed. As soon as Michael Anderson got into the car, she quickly opened the door on the other side and sat down. Michael Anderson looked at the woman who suddenly appeared in the seat to his left, frowning in displeasure. "Get out. As if I enjoy sitting in your rickety car." Catherine Williams rolled her eyes, then said to the driver sitting in the driver's seat, "Driver, hospital number 1, please hurry, I'm in a rush to get to work." Her tone became polite when addressing the driver. Michael Anderson became even more annoyed, intending to kick Catherine Williams out of the car. Catherine Williams pouted, muttering, "Rude," clinging tightly to the corner of the car, looking at Michael Anderson with an expression of, "You can't get rid of me." "Mayor, there's a meeting at 9:30, if we take this woman to the hospital now and then return to City Hall, we'll still be on time. But if this drags on any longer..." The bodyguard sitting in the passenger seat reminded him softly. "Mayor, your bodyguard is much more approachable than you are." Catherine Williams, as if determined to annoy Michael Anderson to death, continued to taunt. "Did you have your bodyguard attend etiquette class in your place?" The driver sitting in the driver's seat and the bodyguard were both awkwardly and silently sweating. This unknown doctor, where did she get the nerve? Michael Anderson, observing his chauffeur and bodyguard, dismissed them from the vehicle, then fixed Catherine Williams with a look of predatory intensity. "Have you forgotten the meaning of the word death?" Catherine Williams paused in thought, blinking. "Not at all." She then took Michael Anderson's hand, tracing the word death on his palm. "Mr. Mayor, have you forgotten?" "It's all right, I'll teach you." Michael Anderson yanked his hand back, his teeth grinding together with such force that his gums threatened to bleed. Catherine Williams's smile broadened. "Kid, let me teach you another phrase, I'm not afraid of you." With that, she summoned her chauffeur and bodyguard back to the car, departing in high spirits. However, not everyone shared Catherine Williams's cheerful disposition. Michael Anderson deeply regretted not having eliminated her with a single gunshot the previous day, leaving her free to provoke him now. Was this what Victor Anderson often referred to as seeking abuse? The car swiftly arrived at the hospital. Catherine Williams gazed ahead, observing, as anticipated, Nicholas Harper's car parked at the entrance. If her assumptions were correct, Nicholas Harper was undoubtedly waiting for her inside the vehicle. As the black Mercedes gradually came to a halt, Catherine Williams gave specific instructions to her chauffeur. "Driver, please wait a few minutes. I have a matter to discuss with Mr. Mayer." Exiting the car, Catherine Williams deliberately circled around to the other side, offering a radiant smile to the stone-faced Michael Anderson inside. "Farewell. Shouldn't you be seeking psychiatric evaluation?" Michael Anderson responded with a cold laugh, incredulous at her seemingly amicable farewell. Catherine Williams silently gritted her teeth, maintaining her smile flawlessly. "Darling, your sense of humor is improving." Michael Anderson, his skin crawling, reached to close the car window. Catherine Williams quickly added, "See you tonight." Michael Anderson decisively closed the window, instructing his driver to depart. Catherine Williams remained in place, a smile stretching her lips, watching Michael Anderson's car as she waved with feigned fondness. As Michael Anderson's car turned at the intersection, she rolled her eyes and entered the hospital. Shortly thereafter, as expected, Nicholas Harper caught up to her, grasping her hand. "Release me." Catherine Williams struggled to free herself from his grip. "Let go. My boyfriend will be displeased." "Boyfriend?" Nicholas Harper's eyes darkened. "Catherine, didn't I tell you to break up with him when you returned home? Why should I obey you?" Catherine Williams stared at him incredulously. "We are nothing more than ordinary friends, understand? To put it bluntly, you have no right to interfere in my affairs." Nicholas Harper tightened his grip on her hand. "We will be married soon. The date is set, the 15th of next month. Catherine, you have 40 days to accept this reality. Marry whoever agreed to this arrangement." Catherine Williams finally lost her patience, fleeing into the hospital. Nicholas Harper watched her retreating figure, his expression growing increasingly somber. Even if Catherine Williams refused to marry him, he would not allow her to be with Michael Anderson. Catherine Williams rushed into the hospital. As she entered the elevator, perhaps due to skipping breakfast, a pang of stomach pain hit her. She cursed inwardly, contemplating ordering breakfast. Chapter 36, Eyes Tempered in the Crucible of Alchemy. Prone to ill temper and irregular eating habits since childhood, she frequently skipped breakfast after arguments with her father, gradually developing gastritis. Though not severe, the pain often left her unable to stand upright. Catherine Williams, clutching her stomach, emerged from the elevator when a voice called out, "Catherine." Glancing over, she saw her colleague, Lucas Grant. Lucas Grant, the hospital's heartthrob, possessed striking looks, a refined demeanor, and a close friendship with Catherine Williams, a source of both admiration and envy among their female colleagues. Catherine Williams consistently maintained a facade of innocence, claiming that she and Lucas Grant were merely close friends. "Haven't had breakfast yet?" Lucas Grant asked, looking at Catherine Williams with a hint of exasperation as he offered her the small steamed buns and soy milk he carried. "Eat this." "But this is your breakfast," Catherine Williams protested, waving her hand dismissively. "You eat it, I'll get something else." Lucas Grant pressed the breakfast into Catherine Williams's hands. "I'll order something else. I'm not hungry anyway, waiting a bit won't hurt." He checked his watch. "I'm going to do my rounds. Eat while it's still warm." "All right," Catherine Williams called out towards Lucas Grant's retreating figure. "I'll treat you to lunch today." Lucas Grant turned back, a smile gracing his lips. "Okay." Back in her office, Catherine Williams slumped over her desk, stomach still cramping, slowly regaining her composure as she ate her breakfast, her thoughts preoccupied. 40 days left. Within 40 days, she had to marry Michael Anderson, otherwise, her plan would be exposed by Nicholas Harper, leaving her with two grim alternatives, death or forced marriage to Nicholas Harper. The only problem. Damn it. Michael Anderson was unpredictable and played hard to get. How was she supposed to handle him? He clearly didn't care about the baby. However, his indifference was, paradoxically, a source of relief. After all, she would eventually leave. Yes, she had to disappear from this place. She knew Michael Anderson had no feelings for her. Even if she used the baby to coerce him into marriage, the truth would inevitably surface within 5 months. Without Michael Anderson's protection, her only option was to flee. Assuming a flawless new identity, she would escape to a country beyond Nicholas Harper's reach. 5 months was sufficient time to prepare for this. Time ticked by, consumed by Catherine Williams's meticulous planning, until the workday finally ended. Leaving her car in the hospital parking lot, she relished the freedom from surveillance and Nicholas Harper's interference. Driving directly to Michael Anderson's house. Her good mood abruptly evaporated at Michael Anderson's gate. She didn't have a key and couldn't get in. The doorbell went unanswered. Without Michael Anderson's phone number, she couldn't call him to open the door. Damn it. Catherine Williams leaned against her car, frustration mounting, her gaze drifting towards the perimeter wall. She had found a way to get Michael Anderson to open the door. Without hesitation, Catherine Williams began assessing the wall. Initially, she assumed it was an ordinary wall, but upon closer inspection, she realized it was not only fireproof and bulletproof but also explosion-proof. Good heavens! Michael Anderson was just a mayor, yet he lived like some kind of elite mercenary. Fortunately, she observed, this wall was designed to deter attacks, not intrusions, therefore. Catherine Williams discarded her high heels over the wall, assessed the structure, and with the agile grace of a seasoned climber, ascended, then dropped into Michael Anderson's garden. Subsequently, she approached the main entrance. It was locked, secured by a fingerprint and keypad system, programmed to trigger the neighborhood security alarm after 3 incorrect entries. Catherine Williams smiled, thinking, Michael Anderson, you're such a fool, and proceeded to enter 0487 3 consecutive times, after which the alarm blared. Within 2 minutes, security personnel arrived, but the outer iron gate remained closed, rendering them unable to reach Catherine Williams, forcing them to contact Michael Anderson. Indeed, this was Catherine Williams's calculated strategy, to establish contact with Michael Anderson while avoiding apprehension by the diligent security for malicious intent. After repeatedly assuring the guard she wasn't a burglar, Catherine Williams settled onto a wooden garden bench, patiently awaiting Michael Anderson's return, while observing his garden. The garden, evidently maintained by a professional, displayed a vibrant array of summer blooms, exuding an intoxicating fragrance, offering an unparalleled sensory experience. She reveled in the ambience for an extended period, yet Michael Anderson remained absent, leading her to suspect his deliberate tardiness. Damn it! If he was out philandering, wouldn't she be stranded outside all night? As the sun descended westward, Catherine Williams watched the light gradually retreat towards the corner of the wall, climbed the wall, and then, inch by inch, departed, vanishing as darkness enveloped the sky. Michael Anderson had yet to return. Glancing upwards at the emerging stars, Catherine Williams, her stomach gnawing with hunger, contemplated triggering the alarm again to inquire about Michael Anderson's estimated time of arrival. After another hour elapsed, complete darkness descended, the garden lights activated automatically, and Catherine Williams, overcome by fatigue, slumped against the bench, drifting into sleep. The previous night, she had managed a mere 4 hours of sleep, compounded by a lack of rest during the afternoon, leaving her utterly exhausted. Michael Anderson returned late from the bar, parked his car, exited the garage, and, not finding Catherine Williams at the door, scanned the garden, noticing a figure on the bench. He approached and nudged Catherine Williams's calf. Hey. Catherine Williams frowned, recoiling further into the bench, remaining unconscious. Michael Anderson crouched on one leg, observing Catherine Williams. While she was completely unaware, dealing with her would be both quiet and convenient. However, her sleeping countenance, compared to her usual fiery demeanor, appeared far more endearing, her delicate, porcelain face framed by long black hair, possessing an ethereal beauty reminiscent of a masterfully executed ink painting. Eliminating her seemed to entail the forfeiture of considerable amusement. Michael Anderson raised an eyebrow, stood up, abruptly pulled Catherine Williams off the bench, released his grip, and Catherine Williams landed on the grass. Ouch! Catherine Williams, jolted awake by the impact, initially assumed she had fallen from the bench, but upon seeing Michael Anderson's sardonic smile, immediately grasped the situation. Damn it! Catherine Williams bristled. Michael Anderson, did a professional assassin teach you etiquette? Michael Anderson scoffed, I always treat stray animals this way. Catherine Williams rolled her eyes. I truly don't understand how someone as tasteless as you was elected mayor. Don't forget who kept pestering someone as tasteless as me to get married, Michael Anderson sneered, entering the house. Putting on airs. Catherine Williams stamped her foot behind Michael Anderson. She wasn't interested in his taste, but in his power, all right. If Michael Anderson weren't the mayor of Gray City, he would be nothing in her eyes. Catherine Williams kept telling herself this, following Michael Anderson, secretly. Observing the main door's passcode behind him, memorizing it, and then started devising a plan to obtain the main door's passcode. She really didn't want to have to climb the wall in and out every day during her stay here. But if she directly asked Michael Anderson, given his detestable personality, he definitely wouldn't tell her. She could only think of a way to get it from the cook tomorrow. Chapter 37, Things are getting more and more interesting. Speaking of food, Catherine Williams was so hungry her stomach was growling. She hurriedly washed her hands and ran to the dining room, devouring her meal. Michael Anderson watched Catherine Williams eat like a starved wolf, shaking his head repeatedly. Aside from her face and figure, nothing about her resembled a woman. How could he have married someone like this? If it weren't for his grandmother pressuring him to go on blind dates, he wouldn't even tolerate her presence. Catherine Williams quickly finished eating, put down her chopsticks, propped her chin up with one hand, and kicked Michael Anderson, who was sitting opposite her, under the table. When are we going to register our marriage? Michael Anderson raised his eyes to look at Catherine Williams and slowly said, The only certificate I'll ever get for you is a death certificate. Damn! Venomous tongue. But we can't keep dragging this out. Don't you find it boring that we repeat this topic every day? Act like a man and make a choice right now, marry me, or go down with me. Oh, it seems like you can't escape me either way. Are you in such a hurry? Michael Anderson gave a sardonic laugh. Girl, hide it better. Don't let me know your true purpose. He didn't believe that a woman with Catherine Williams's personality would inexplicably get pregnant to force him into marriage. She definitely had another motive. For a moment, Catherine Williams was frightened. Michael Anderson had seen through her again. Damn! Were his eyes forged in a Taishang Laojuan's alchemy furnace? If he got the urge to investigate her and discovered her relationship with Nicholas Harper, would everything be ruined? Catherine Williams toned it down a bit. I'm not in a hurry. She pointed to her stomach. But it is. It's going to grow bigger and bigger every day, without any politeness. I grew up without a mother, so I don't want my child to grow up in a single-parent family as well. I won't marry you because of the child, Michael Anderson stated. The reason is very simple, to marry me, the most basic requirement is that you must be a woman. Damn! Going around in circles to criticize her lack of femininity again. Catherine Williams closed her eyes, telling herself she absolutely must not provoke Michael Anderson, otherwise, everything would be ruined. She had to endure. Endure. Endure until the day she could rise up, then it wouldn't be too late to slowly take revenge. Mimicking Michael Anderson's tone from that day, Catherine Williams insinuated, "Mr. Mayor, whether or not I'm a woman, shouldn't you know best? Are you attempting to seduce me? Get out. You're a beast solely fixated on what's between your legs. If my thoughts weren't occupied by what lies between your legs, you would have been ejected long ago," Michael Anderson stated, his speech measured and even, maintaining a conversational cadence. Catherine Williams, easily provoked, felt her heart accelerate with irritation upon hearing these words, consumed by a desire to tear Michael Anderson asunder. However, she acknowledged her inability to overcome Michael Anderson physically. Furthermore, antagonizing him at this juncture was inadvisable. Thus, patience. Upon her departure, a comprehensive reckoning would be enacted. Glaring at Michael Anderson, Catherine Williams spun on her heel and ascended the staircase. "Return," Michael Anderson commanded, halting Catherine Williams's ascent. "By whose leave do you depart?" With a haughty scoff, Catherine Williams retorted, "Must I obey every summons? My thoughts are hardly preoccupied with what resides between your legs." With that, she resumed her upward trajectory. "Accede to a single request, and I shall contemplate the formalization of our union. After all, your sole desire is a marriage certificate, is it not?" Michael Anderson exploited Catherine Williams's vulnerability. Catherine Williams's ascent halted, she turned, descended, and seated herself opposite Michael Anderson. "How did you ascertain my desire for mere documentation? Perhaps my ambition lies in securing the position of the mayor's wife." Michael Anderson emitted a chilling laugh. "If concealment is your objective, refrain from incessant mention of marriage registration. Instead, emphasize your aspiration to become the mayor's wife." Damn, Catherine Williams thought. Despite Michael Anderson's apparent nonchalance during their conversations, his attentiveness was undeniable. Would his keen perception eventually pierce her facade and expose her true intentions? "What is your demand?" Catherine Williams inquired, lacing her words with sarcasm. "If you require my assistance in eliminating you for the benefit of Grace City, I would gladly oblige. Accompany me to a social gathering tomorrow," Michael Anderson instructed. "Should you encounter a certain woman." Michael Anderson abruptly ceased speaking, prompting Catherine Williams to inquire, "And who is this woman?" "Then, manage the situation independently," Michael Anderson declared, setting down his utensils and rising to depart for the upper floor. Catherine Williams furrowed her brow. "What if I conspire with her to eliminate you?" Michael Anderson offered no response, simply continuing his ascent. "Well, Mr. Mayor, have you suffered a stroke? Such a reaction is uncharacteristic." Catherine Williams recalled the unusual expression on Michael Anderson's face as he turned to leave. A smile graced her lips, events were becoming intriguing. The woman she was to encounter tomorrow undoubtedly possessed the capacity to influence Michael Anderson. What manner of woman could control such a deviant individual? Could an alliance be forged to counteract Michael Anderson's influence? That night, the prospect of finding an ally filled Catherine Williams with such exhilaration that she slept soundly. Catherine Williams's positive disposition persisted into the following day. Observing Catherine Williams's radiant smile during breakfast the next morning, Michael Anderson's demeanor soured. His voice deepened as he instructed, "Await my transport at the hospital after work." "Oh," Catherine Williams responded thoughtfully. "Regarding the woman I am to meet this evening." Michael Anderson abruptly directed his gaze towards Catherine Williams, his eyes colder and more menacing than a blade. Even Catherine Williams, who claimed to fear neither heaven nor earth, was silenced by his stare, rendered speechless. Catherine Williams was stunned. It was the first time she had witnessed such a terrifying expression on Michael Anderson's face. It seemed as though every pore of his being radiated an intense, murderous aura. She sensed that if she uttered another word, her life would end right there. Wisely, Catherine Williams lowered her head, pretending nothing had happened, and ate her breakfast. After breakfast, Catherine Williams went to work. Perhaps anticipating the evening's party, she remained in a state of excitement throughout the day, eagerly awaiting nightfall. Time ticked by, and finally, Catherine Williams' workday concluded. She removed her white coat and left the hospital. Upon reaching the exit, she was surprised to see Michael Anderson's sports car. Wasn't he supposed to send someone to pick her up? Why was the mayor himself here? Catherine Williams approached the car, opened the door, and settled into the passenger seat. Before she could fasten her seatbelt, Michael Anderson accelerated. Fortunately, she maintained her balance, otherwise, she would have certainly fallen again. She was genuinely curious, how could Michael Anderson be so inconsiderate? Michael Anderson remained silent during the drive. Catherine Williams noticed his displeasure, likely related to the woman they were meeting that evening, so she chose not to provoke him. Upon arriving at a tailor shop, Michael Anderson finally spoke, "Get in. Be out in 30 minutes. As Catherine Williams opened the car door, Michael Anderson called her back, coldly adding, "Don't wear heavy makeup or strong perfume. Or I'll throw you into the Yellow Shore River for a thorough cleansing before fishing you out." Chapter 38, What's Wrong with You? Catherine Williams entered the fashion boutique and calmly relayed Michael Anderson's exact words to the staff before selecting a white evening gown. The boutique staff, seemingly accustomed to wealthy individuals with eccentric personalities, promptly styled Catherine Williams' hair and makeup, though not without casting a pitying glance her way. 30 minutes later, not a second off, Catherine Williams emerged from the boutique and knocked on Michael Anderson's car window, "Pay up." She didn't have enough money. Michael Anderson handed Catherine Williams a card. For the first time in his presence, Catherine Williams was taken aback. A Centurion card. Commonly known as the Black Card. The king of all cards. The ultimate symbol of status. It was said that this card had no limit, even enough to purchase a private jet. Moreover, it wasn't simply a matter of having money, the bank extended exclusive invitations to a select few prominent figures worldwide, offering comprehensive services. Naturally, its annual fee was exorbitant. But that wasn't the point. The point was, Michael Anderson was merely a mayor. How did he qualify for such an invitation? Michael Anderson tossed the card to Catherine Williams. 3 minutes. Be back. Such cards typically lacked passwords. Catherine Williams took the card into the boutique, where the cashier also momentarily froze before cautiously accepting it. Back in the vehicle, Catherine Williams, rather than immediately returning the card to Michael Anderson, observed him carefully. "Impressive, Mayor Anderson," she remarked, "what exactly is your profession?" "The fact that you're alive today is precisely because you don't know what I do," Michael Anderson stated coldly, starting the car and driving towards the hotel. Catherine Williams pouted. Damn. Intimidating her again. But when she encountered that woman later, would she be able to retaliate? Sigh, Michael Anderson telling her to handle it herself was undoubtedly the most brilliant decision of his life. "Don't even think about causing trouble," Michael Anderson interrupted Catherine Williams's fantasy. "Listen, if you dare embarrass me, I'll make you disappear from this place entirely. If you please me, I'll consider marriage." Because of that last statement, Catherine Williams held back. Arriving at the hotel, Catherine Williams exited the car with Michael Anderson, countless camera flashes began flickering madly, and she naturally linked her arm with his. This pleased Michael Anderson. Without him needing to say much, this woman could immediately react to the situation, responding exactly as he desired. The fact proved that bringing her to this cocktail party was a correct choice. "Who is at this cocktail party?" Catherine Williams inquired of Michael Anderson in a feigned intimate whisper. "I'm not joking, tell me quickly, or don't blame me if you're embarrassed." "High-ranking officials, wealthy merchants," Michael Anderson's reply was concise and clear. Catherine Williams understood. "I have one request, don't let my face appear in the newspapers tomorrow," she stated, not wanting to become famous at the moment. Michael Anderson smirked. Don't flatter yourself. As mayor, my primary responsibility is to prevent your face from polluting the eyes of Grace City's citizens. Catherine Williams gritted her teeth, then smiled radiantly. I didn't realize you understood me so well, darling. In the distance, a gorgeously dressed, exquisitely made-up woman watched Michael Anderson and Catherine Williams, her grip on her wine glass gradually tightening until even her knuckles became prominent. She had investigated beforehand, there were no women around Michael Anderson. Where did this woman clinging to his arm come from? And whispering in his ear so intimately. Catherine Williams, completely unaware of being observed, continued her playful verbal sparring with Michael Anderson until someone came to greet him, at which point she restrained herself, striving to perfectly play the role of his companion. Of course, she was also discreetly observing which woman Michael Anderson was referring to. She bet it was definitely a distinctive woman, one she could identify immediately. Michael Anderson maintained a low level of enthusiasm, focusing solely on drinking, accepting every offered drink. Watching him drink one glass after another, Catherine Williams couldn't help but wonder if he considered her a drinking vessel, or, was he quietly drowning his sorrows? TSK, it was truly hard to imagine. Michael. A middle-aged man approached, greeting Michael Anderson very familiarly. Well, look at you, you've been promoted to mayor. Should I call you Michael or Mayor Anderson? As you wish. Michael Anderson clinked glasses with the man, another half-glass of alcohol disappearing down his throat. Unnoticed by others, Catherine Williams discerned the iciness that crept into Michael Anderson's gaze. Confused, she wondered if his altered demeanor was solely reserved for the woman, questioning whether he intended her to handle men or women. Michael Anderson's coldness stemmed from a prior encounter with the man, recalling how the man had drugged his drink, leading to an unwanted encounter with Catherine Williams, a subsequent nuisance. Tallying all accounts, Stevens deserved 1,000 deaths, his recent appointment delaying retribution, but promising future torment, hair by hair. Catherine Williams, sensing the intensifying chill in Michael Anderson's eyes, recalled his previous denial of her femininity, suspecting an inability to distinguish genders, concluding his target was the affluent-looking, portly man. With this thought, Catherine Williams, intentionally or not, cast an intrigued gaze towards Mr. Stevens. Mr. Stevens, noticing the mayor's companion signaling interest, felt his sense of accomplishment swell, his eyes crinkling into a smile as he addressed Michael, complimenting his beautiful companion, then turning to Catherine Williams, inquiring her name. Catherine Williams, she responded with a measured smile, a blend of decorum and allure, restrained yet provocative, prompting curiosity as she inquired his name in return. Stevens, he introduced himself, identifying as the chairman of the Stevens Corporation. His introduction interrupted. Chairman Stevens's introduction was cut short by Michael Anderson, who escorted Catherine Williams away. From afar, the elaborately dressed and adorned woman observed the scene, her eyes darkening. Michael Anderson's reaction clearly indicated jealousy. Her understanding of Michael Anderson painted him as a man impervious to jealousy, his self-assuredness evident in his dismissive remarks about any perceived rivals. Indeed, he held ordinary men in contempt. The utterly unremarkable Stevens posed a perplexing contrast to his intense reaction. Catherine Williams, equally curious about Michael Anderson's response, found herself without the opportunity to inquire, whisked away to the balcony. He closed the balcony door, creating a private space. Michael Anderson, what game are you playing? She questioned, her intended mockery thwarted by his abrupt departure. Michael Anderson glared at Catherine Williams with predatory intensity, his gaze hardening before he grasped her chin, accusing her of using the opportunity to flirt with men. Chapter 39, Are you insane? Flirt with men? Catherine Williams retorted, throwing off his hand, questioning his sanity and reminding him of his instructions to handle the situation, her attempt interrupted by his intervention. Michael Anderson frowned. Yesterday, I told you, a woman. Do I look like a woman? Who knows if you can even distinguish between men and women? Catherine Williams scoffed, I quit. Find someone else. She wasn't someone without a temper. If it weren't for the marriage, why would she endure coming here with him, smiling and talking with so many people? Come back here. Michael Anderson gripped Catherine Williams's hand tightly. Let go of me. Catherine Williams struggled fiercely. Michael Anderson, being a man, probably didn't realize how serious an accusation of seducing men was for a woman. She simply hated being accused of chasing after men. Are you crazy? Michael Anderson yanked Catherine Williams back towards him. You're the crazy one. You think men are something I need to seduce? Let me tell you, in this lifetime, I'll only seduce Benedict. Catherine Williams said, attempting to bite Michael Anderson. Michael Anderson finally understood which sentence had provoked Catherine Williams, but still didn't offer any conciliatory words. If you keep causing a scene, I'll throw you off the balcony. If you dare throw me, I dare drag you down with me. Catherine Williams was not one to back down. Michael Anderson, left with no other choice, released Catherine Williams's hand to let her calm down. Be quiet, we're leaving in 30 minutes. This cocktail party, if it weren't for his grandmother's suspicions, he wouldn't have attended at all. That woman. Catherine Williams's voice was full of inquiry. Just play the role of my girlfriend well. Michael Anderson's voice was cold, as my girlfriend, don't stare at other men. Understand? Catherine Williams thought for a moment. Michael Anderson had compromised. Fine, I'll cooperate with you. The two reluctantly returned to their pretense of intimacy, Catherine Williams taking the initiative to link her arm with Michael Anderson's as they walked out. Many women came forward to greet Michael Anderson, but his responses were all the same. Catherine Williams couldn't discern which woman he was referring to, so she could only continue to observe, silently praying. She truly wanted to see what kind of woman could make someone like Michael Anderson take notice. At this moment, Michael. A melodious female voice rang out, and Catherine Williams instinctively looked over, secretly astonished. A perfect woman, it must refer to this type of woman. A high-end, long, strapless dress, a Gucci handbag, expensive jewelry, noble and elegant, coupled with exquisite features, truly a goddess. She was the only woman who called Michael Anderson by his name throughout the entire party. Catherine Williams clearly felt Michael Anderson's hand tighten around hers. The woman Michael Anderson mentioned was actually such a paragon. Act well, Michael Anderson suddenly turned to Catherine Williams, girl, if you perform this play well, I'll give you points, and registering our marriage isn't impossible. Catherine Williams's expression became serious, ready to enter any state that might arise. Michael Anderson only said one sentence, act well. She didn't know what role to play, so she had to be prepared for anything. Michael. The woman in the long dress walked over, completely ignoring Catherine Williams, directly greeting Michael Anderson, long time no see. Congratulations, Mr. Mayor of Grace City. In the future, if I need any favors, please take care of me. Michael Anderson simply stated 4 words, long time no see. From the other woman's expression, Catherine Williams realized there was definitely a significant connection between her and Michael Anderson. The possessive look in her eyes conveyed a clear message, Michael Anderson belonged to her. But what was Michael Anderson's intention? After a moment of reflection, Catherine Williams smiled, looking at Michael Anderson. Is this the young lady you mentioned to me? Michael Anderson glanced indifferently at Catherine Williams. Yes. Not perceiving any overwhelming emotion in Michael Anderson's eyes, Catherine Williams smiled again. Then why say, long time no see? Aren't I the only one in your eyes right now? The woman in the long dress's complexion shifted. Michael, is this young lady your girlfriend? His fiancée. Catherine Williams looked intimately at Michael Anderson. My love, we're about to register our marriage, aren't we? Should we send this young lady an invitation to the wedding? Michael Anderson lowered his head and kissed Catherine Williams' beautiful pink lips. I'll do as you say. Catherine Williams smiled sweetly, though she was actually getting goosebumps. The woman in the long dress gave a forced smile. Is that so? I have a few other friends to greet, so I'll take my leave. Oh, right, you two look very well matched. Of course, why would we register for marriage if we weren't well matched? Catherine Williams' smile broadened. Michael Anderson gritted his teeth silently. Damn woman. Watching the woman's retreating figure, Catherine Williams smiled and asked Michael Anderson, so? How did I do just now? If you hadn't done well, I would have thrown you into the Yellow Shore River to fill it up. Michael Anderson sneered. So that means, you agree to register for marriage with me? Oh, I forgot to emphasize just now, I was asking if it's okay for us to register for marriage. Michael Anderson narrowed his eyes. Girl, are you trying to scheme against me? This scheme isn't as hurtful as the pain that woman just caused you, is it? Catherine Williams smiled, staring into Michael Anderson's eyes. As expected, she saw a change in Michael Anderson's expression. Although the change was subtler than a drop of water in a lake, fleeting and quickly gone, she still noticed it. There was something between Michael Anderson and that woman. Michael Anderson, bringing me to this cocktail party was absolutely the best decision you've ever made, Catherine Williams stated. You men have your ways of dealing with each other, and I have even more ways of dealing with women. Tell me, what do you want to do with that woman? I can help you achieve it, in exchange for you registering our marriage tomorrow. Michael Anderson, if you want to make me happy, then go kill yourself. That would make me happy until the day I die. Holy shit. What a venomous tongue. Catherine Williams pouted. No deal then. Many people continued to greet Michael Anderson, addressing him as either Michael or Mayor Anderson, causing Catherine Williams to smile until her mouth felt stiff. 20 to 30 minutes passed, and Michael Anderson still hadn't returned, leaving Catherine Williams to maintain a strained smile. After an indeterminate amount of time, and having consumed enough drinks to feel slightly intoxicated, Catherine Williams finally heard the music for dancing begin. Within the banquet hall, everyone seemed immersed in the excitement, gentlemen inviting the ladies who caught their eye to dance, embracing their waists and gliding onto the center of the floor, moving gracefully like elegant swans. Michael Anderson had no intention of dancing with Catherine Williams, a sentiment reciprocated by Catherine Williams herself. However, someone did wish to dance with Michael Anderson, the woman in the bespoke, high-end gown. Michael, the woman smiled, shall we take this opportunity to make up for the dance we missed 2 years ago? #### Chapter 40, You thought it was fake between us? Michael Anderson remained silent. The woman glanced towards Catherine Williams. Miss, do you mind? Catherine Williams shrugged. Of course not. She propelled Michael Anderson towards the woman. Darling, indulged the lovely lady. The astute woman seized the opportunity, taking Michael Anderson's hand and smilingly leading him towards the dancing crowd. Michael Anderson turned, glaring at Catherine Williams, who tilted her head, mouthing, I did that on purpose. No need to thank me. Observing Michael Anderson, a man typically averse to dancing, acquiesce, the others paused, yielding the floor to him, their applause expressing anticipation for his performance. With so many watching, you can't just abandon me like you did 2 years ago. The woman proactively placed her hand on Michael Anderson's shoulder. Michael Anderson merely smirked. Michael, are you now unwilling even to speak my name? I'm merely considering, my fiancé might be displeased. Michael Anderson's voice was nonchalant, as if pondering a matter of grave importance. The woman's expression shifted. Is it real between you and her? Did you think it was a pretense? Michael Anderson said apologetically. I apologize for leading you to believe otherwise. Michael. Could we expedite this? Michael Anderson glanced towards Catherine Williams, smiling. I'm concerned my fiancé might become jealous if this takes too long. The woman fell silent, wordlessly dancing with Michael Anderson. She understood, his heart wasn't with her. He had, long since departed. Michael Anderson, to enhance the veracity of his performance, looked towards Catherine Williams again, only to find her back as she walked towards the restroom. As he was about to avert his gaze, Michael Anderson noticed Mr. Stevens, the man who had drugged him, following Catherine Williams inside. Catherine Williams had recklessly flirted with the unscrupulous Henry Stevens. What were his intentions in following her? Or had Catherine Williams led him there? Michael Anderson's expression darkened with each passing thought. In truth, Catherine Williams was unaware why Mr. Stevens was following her, she simply needed a respite from standing. Observing Henry Stevens's expression and the drink in his hand, alarm bells began ringing in Catherine Williams's mind. "Miss Williams," Henry Stevens smiled, offering her the drink. "Why are you sitting here alone? It's so dull. Here, let me have a drink with you." Catherine Williams took the glass, clinking it against Henry Stevens's. As she raised it to her lips, she paused, a hint of mockery in her eyes as she looked at him. "Mr. Stevens, I remember now. I've heard of you. Do you have a business card? Could I have one? So I can brag to my friends that I know the famous Mr. Stevens." Henry Stevens, truly believing himself a celebrity, grinned and went to retrieve a business card from his assistant. Catherine Williams smiled, calmly switching her and Henry Stevens's drinks. "Let's see, she is a doctor." During her school years, she enjoyed researching all sorts of unusual drugs, circulating only on the black market, to the point that now she can identify them just by smelling them. Henry Stevens actually wanted to scheme against her. Henry Stevens turned around, giving his business card to Catherine Williams. Everything went smoothly. Catherine Williams toasted him. "Miss Williams, your alcohol tolerance is truly impressive." Henry Stevens knew this drug worked very quickly, and with a few artificial actions, it would be even faster. He reached for Catherine Williams, truly the mayor's woman. Catherine Williams sneered inwardly, this bald man still wanted to take advantage of her. She wasn't even afraid of Michael Anderson, this bald man. Catherine Williams gripped Henry Stevens's wrist, pulling him down onto the sofa with a force so decisive that Henry Stevens thought he was dreaming. "CEO Stevens, knowing I'm the mayor's woman, you still dare to drug me? My, you've got some nerve." Catherine Williams restrained Henry Stevens. "What are you planning to do?" Humiliated at being thrown down by such a slender woman, Henry Stevens snorted, "I even dared to drug Michael Anderson. What's his woman?" "You drugged Michael Anderson last time. Miraculously, you're still alive." Catherine Williams tightened her grip on Henry Stevens's wrist, "But this time, you're definitely dead. Let me go. You ungrateful woman." Henry Stevens roared, "Otherwise, if I get nude photos of you, I'll definitely send them to the press, so the whole city can see how depraved the mayor's woman is. You drugged me to take nude photos of me. I despise you." Catherine Williams kicked Henry Stevens in the groin. At this moment, Henry Stevens's penis was erect, and her kick. Ah! Henry Stevens's features contorted in pain, sweat quickly pouring down his forehead. Catherine Williams sneered, using Henry Stevens's tie to bind his hands. Seeing the drug had taken full effect, she released him, knelt on him, and started to unbutton his shirt, considering how to deal with him. But just as her hand touched Henry Stevens's chest, the door opened, and Michael Anderson walked in. Seeing Catherine Williams in a compromising position on top of a man, Michael Anderson's face immediately darkened. In the next moment, Michael Anderson strode over to Catherine Williams and pulled her up. "What are you doing?" He gripped her chin. "A few days without touching you, and you're already this desperate and indiscriminate?" Catherine Williams glared, shoving Michael Anderson's hand away. "You're crazy." Catherine Williams hated being accused of clinging to men more than anything in her life. Glaring at Michael Anderson, she said, "Open your eyes and look closely. This impertinent man drugged me, wanting to take photos of me to blackmail you." Michael Anderson's gaze became even colder than before. Michael Anderson walked over to Henry Stevens. kicking him off the sofa. "Henry Stevens, it seems my decision to deal with you later was a mistake. You really are tired of living." Mayor Anderson. Clutching his groin in pain, Henry Stevens hadn't expected Michael Anderson to know he had drugged her. He hurriedly said, "I was wrong, please, spare me." Michael Anderson sneered coldly, "Rest assured, I won't do anything to you, I just want you to live a life worse than death." Seeing Henry Stevens's hands tied with a necktie and his shirt buttons undone, he recalled what Catherine Williams had done to him the night he was drunk, and his face darkened considerably. He looked at Catherine Williams. "What are you planning to do to him?" "He wanted to take pictures of me, so naturally, I had to retaliate." Catherine Williams truly embodied the saying, "An eye for an eye." Michael Anderson suddenly felt the urge to strangle Catherine Williams. Taking nude photos of him wasn't enough, she even photographed someone like Henry Stevens. How could this woman have so many perverse hobbies? "Come with me." Michael Anderson dragged Catherine Williams out, ignoring everyone's stares, and escorted her out of the banquet hall. Michael Anderson. Catherine Williams struggled. "Are you having another one of your episodes?" "Hey, wait, are you jealous?" Without waiting for Michael Anderson's reply, she continued, "What's there to be jealous about? It's not like I haven't taken nude photos of you before." Michael Anderson shoved Catherine Williams roughly into the car, pressing her back against the car door. "Young lady, you're the mayor's girlfriend tonight. Shouldn't you behave with a little more decorum?" Chapter 41. He wanted to strangle her right now. Catherine Williams put on an innocent expression. "I've been very discreet, haven't I? If it were anyone else, I would have already crippled that Stevens guy for life. Damned woman, instead of learning something useful, she studies urology." This time, Michael Anderson's face truly darkened like ink. He wanted to strangle her right now. Catherine Williams was fortunate. Before Michael Anderson could carry out his murderous impulse, the woman she suspected of having an affair with Michael Anderson appeared, calling out to him from a distance, "Michael, let go of me." Catherine Williams seized the opportunity to remind Michael Anderson. "If that woman sees us, our charade will be completely ruined." Michael Anderson snorted coldly and finally released Catherine Williams. The woman approached and looked at Michael Anderson. "Are you getting ready to leave? I was thinking, since we haven't seen each other in so many years, we could find somewhere to sit and catch up." Michael Anderson glanced towards Catherine Williams. Catherine Williams understood and took Michael Anderson's arm. "What a coincidence. Miss, how should I address you?" "My surname is Chu, Anna Collins." "Oh, Miss Chu." Catherine Williams smiled. "What a coincidence, Michael and I have somewhere to be tonight. He's also quite busy lately, but he'll be free to catch up with you on our wedding day." The smile on Anna Collins's face stiffened. "Is that so? Then I won't disturb you. I'll be going now." She took a few steps, then suddenly turned back to ask Michael Anderson, "Michael, if I said I've come to my senses, would you be willing to repeat what you said to me 2 years ago on my birthday?" Catherine Williams felt annoyed. Damn it. Knowing full well she was Michael Anderson's fiancée, this woman still spoke to him like that. She was looking down on her. Blatantly looking down on her. If Michael Anderson also disregarded her, she would lose face today. She didn't want to lose face in front of this woman. Michael Anderson looked at Anna Collins and smiled. 2 years ago, what did I say to you? I understand. Disappointment was evident on Anna Collins's face as she turned towards her car, yet, unable to resist, she looked back. Michael, are you truly unwilling to grant me another opportunity? You are welcome to attend my wedding. Having spoken, Michael Anderson did not forget to cast a tender glance at Catherine Williams. Anna Collins gave a bitter laugh and got into her car. Catherine Williams pursed her lips. The situation between Michael Anderson and Anna Collins seemed more intriguing than she had imagined. What to do now? She desperately wanted to know the full story. Yet, she dared not ask Michael Anderson. After some deliberation, Catherine Williams could only inquire about the most curious aspect. She nudged Michael Anderson's arm. "Hey, what did you say to her? Tell me." Michael Anderson gestured towards the road with its swiftly moving traffic. "Can you go over there?" "Damn it." He casually suggests she die. To what extent did Michael Anderson resent her? Or, was it a topic Michael Anderson wished to avoid? Was his reaction merely a diversionary tactic? Thinking this, Catherine Williams became even more determined not to give up, pressing further. "She's your ex-girlfriend, isn't she?" Michael Anderson's expression darkened as he quickly boarded his car. Catherine Williams ran over, pulled open the passenger door, and jumped inside. "It's the ex-girlfriend." "Shut up. Go register our marriage, and I'll shut up." Catherine Williams grinned mischievously. "Otherwise, let me guess why you two broke up. Just looking at her, you can tell she's high maintenance. Surely, during intimate moments, she wanted to be on top, and you weren't content being under a woman. You two couldn't agree, so she dumped you. Wasn't it? Oh, or was it that when you wanted to enter, your little friend suddenly bowed its head, and she dumped you? What is your name, anyway?" Michael Anderson only now realized, with considerable annoyance, that he didn't know this woman's name. Even insulting her proved difficult. "I told you to call me sister." Catherine Williams haughtily let out two humphs. "Want to know my name? It's not that complicated. Go register our marriage." "I'm thinking." "Don't make me think when I don't even want to think. Understand?" Catherine Williams feigned understanding, inwardly cursing, "You have no discerning eye. A beautiful woman comes to your doorstep with a child, wanting to be your wife, a buy one get one free deal, and you still need to think." After a moment's thought, Catherine Williams's eyes widened. "Michael Anderson, do you still have lingering feelings for that woman? That's not acceptable." Michael Anderson raised an eyebrow. "Why not?" "That's my prerogative. Because she wants to eat your leftovers. Can't you see? You just kissed me. If she were as twisted as you, she would have thrown me off the rooftop already. If you still have feelings for her, what am I supposed to do?" Catherine Williams exclaimed agitatedly. Michael Anderson looked at Catherine Williams with disgust, finally uttering the word "idiot," before starting the car and driving home. Catherine Williams suddenly remembered. "Michael Anderson, you've been drinking. You can't drive. Haven't you always wanted to die together with me? This is perfect." Michael Anderson appeared nonchalant. "Making excuses. It's clear you haven't forgotten her and are now embarrassed, so you want to commit suicide." Catherine Williams laughed triumphantly. Michael Anderson accelerated, this time truly desiring a shared destiny with Catherine Williams. Catherine Williams, gripping the seatbelt in fear, cursed inwardly, thinking, "If death is inevitable, perishing alongside the mayor will grant me posthumous fame." Unfortunately, however, they arrived home safely. Catherine Williams, her feet aching after hours in 10-centimeter heels, kicked off her shoes upon entering and headed for the bath. Just then, Michael Anderson's phone rang. He glanced at the number, frowned, and retreated to his room to answer. "Michael," a venerable voice emanated from the receiver, "I've heard the news. Is the young woman you mentioned this morning the same one you escorted to the wine reception today?" "Yes. It is she," Michael Anderson replied, gazing out the floor-to-ceiling window towards the garden. "I hear she's quite beautiful. Is this a serious relationship? When will you bring her to meet me? Otherwise, I'll arrange some blind dates for you." "Grandmother." Michael Anderson massaged his temples in exasperation. "Just give me a great-grandchild, and call me great-grandmother, and the matter is settled." The elderly woman's voice crackled with impatience. "You're 28, nearly 30. For years, your only close companion has been that Victor Anderson boy. What if he actually becomes my grandson-in-law one day? How can I not be anxious for you? You. Michael Anderson's thoughts drifted to Catherine Williams. Perhaps if she delivered the child she carried, his grandmother would relent. Grandmother, with so many people observing me today at your behest, surely someone witnessed me kissing my girlfriend. So, Victor won't become your grandson-in-law. Rest assured. And what about my great-grandchild? Michael Anderson raised an eyebrow. You already have a granddaughter-in-law. Can a great-grandchild be far behind? The call concluded amicably, and Michael Anderson, his spirits lifted, gathered his clothes and headed for the shower. After he turned 25, his grandmother began urging him to produce an heir. Seeing his lack of a partner, she resorted to a relentless campaign of arranged meetings. Now, at 28, his grandmother's composure had completely eroded, and she practically yearned to drag him down the aisle. Chapter 42, What are your thoughts? That morning, as he contemplated dismissing Catherine Williams, he received a call from his grandmother about another arranged meeting. An idea struck him: he could use Catherine Williams as a pretend girlfriend to deceive his grandmother and secure a few days of peace. However, he couldn't let Catherine Williams in on the scheme. Otherwise, this audacious woman would undoubtedly attempt to dominate him. Moreover, she carried the great-grandchild his grandmother so desperately craved. His decision to bring her along tonight was simply to allow his grandmother's spies to observe her, solidifying his grandmother's belief in his relationship. He wouldn't normally attend such a tedious wine reception. In another room, Catherine Williams, blissfully unaware of Michael Anderson's machinations, luxuriated in a warm bath. She pondered how much more effort it would take to persuade Michael Anderson to marry her. Had her actions tonight brought her a step closer to success? After careful consideration, Catherine Williams decided to maintain her current course. If all else failed, she could leverage the child. The reason for not utilizing the child presently is due to her unwillingness to confront the eventual revelation of the truth, a scenario in which Michael Anderson would. Yet, the contemplation of this eventual exposure and her subsequent departure evokes a subtle sense of remorse. Given their lack of prior acquaintance, predicated solely on his appropriation of her virginity, does exploiting him in this manner constitute an excessive measure? Catherine Williams swiftly ceased her internal conflict. Whom should one exploit if not an individual of Michael Anderson's wealth and influence? Extracting minor advantages from him likely holds negligible significance for him. The malevolent Catherine Williams resurfaced, attired in her nightgown, reclining upon her bed, and succumbing to untroubled slumber. Awakening the following morning, Catherine Williams experienced a renewed sense of tranquility, and during breakfast, she persisted in her inquiries regarding Michael Anderson's timeline for their marriage registration, given her exemplary performance the previous day. Further deliberation is required, Michael Anderson remarked indifferently. Should you persist in your contemplation, I shall seek out your former paramour and inform her of your enduring affection. Michael Anderson, given the considerable duration since your separation, your continued attachment to her represents a significant embarrassment, particularly considering your position as mayor of Guichao. You have already informed her of our impending nuptials. I possess the capacity to attribute that communication to a financially motivated fabrication on my part, Catherine Williams retorted, lest you forget, I retain the check bearing your signature. A definitive response will be provided within 3 days. Michael Anderson finally relented. Catherine Williams assented, harboring no apprehension regarding Michael Anderson's potential refusal, recognizing that strategies are human constructs, akin to the historical development of punitive measures. His mere agreement to the marriage registration would signify an 80% success rate for her plan. Following breakfast, Catherine Williams's decision to forego her hospital visit elicited a peculiar glance from Michael Anderson, to which she responded with a shrug, "Today is my designated day of rest. Refrain from interacting with my belongings." Understood. Catherine Williams pondered briefly, do you conceal a treasure map within this residence? Having finally attained a respite, I harbor no desire to meddle with your possessions. I require restorative sleep. Having spoken, Catherine Williams ascended the stairs, retreated to her chamber, and collapsed upon her bed. In truth, boredom prevailed. With the housekeeper having departed for the market, she lacked even a conversational companion. After a period of reclining upon her bed, Catherine Williams discerned the sound of a vehicle's ignition emanating from below, surmising Michael Anderson's departure, and subsequently. She retrieved her tablet and commenced her research into the acquisition of counterfeit passports exhibiting verisimilitude. Without the concealment afforded by a completely fabricated identity, she would remain perpetually ensnared within Nicholas Harper's grasp. Amidst her information-seeking endeavors, Catherine Williams was interrupted by the sound of the doorbell. Recalling the housekeeper's absence, she descended to answer the door, only to be met by an octogenarian woman. The octogenarian woman, her silver hair neatly arranged, adorned with vibrant jade earrings, impeccably dressed, clutched a handbag, her hands clasped before her abdomen, stood erect, exuding an aura of refinement. Most notably, the woman's countenance radiated a benevolent smile, evocative of a gentle spring breeze, imparting a sense of compassionate warmth that immediately endeared her to Catherine Williams. "It's just. Excuse me, may I ask who you're looking for?" Catherine Williams inquired, deeply suspicious. "Dear girl, you must be my Michael's girlfriend, aren't you?" Mrs. Anderson beamed, her eyes crinkling at the corners. "Just as they said, you're truly beautiful." Catherine Williams was stunned. The elderly woman had said, "My Michael." This meant she was Michael Anderson's grandmother. This much she understood. But what did the elderly woman mean by, "You must be my Michael's girlfriend"? It was true that she was trying every way possible to pressure Michael Anderson into marrying her, but, she had never said she wanted to be his girlfriend. Moreover, hadn't Michael Anderson wanted her gone? Why would he let his grandmother know she was his girlfriend? Catherine Williams' intuition told her that Michael Anderson was hiding something significant from her. After a moment of thought, Catherine Williams probed, "When did Michael tell you about me?" Mrs. Anderson recounted the whole story, concluding with, "Before, Michael would still go on blind dates I arranged, but that morning when I called him, he suddenly said he had a girlfriend. I thought he was deceiving me. Now it seems it was true." Having said this, the elderly woman beamed, clearly very pleased with Catherine Williams. In an instant, everything became clear to Catherine Williams. The morning the elderly woman referred to was the morning Michael Anderson abruptly changed his mind about taking her for an abortion. These past few days, she had always assumed she was taking advantage of Michael Anderson, but unexpectedly, Michael Anderson had been taking advantage of her as well. Furthermore, Michael Anderson was far more despicable than her. At least she had been upfront about her intentions. Michael Anderson had gone behind her back. Damn him. He said he needed 3 days to think, but he was clearly being deliberate, intentionally preventing her from having a moment's peace. His grandmother was much more endearing than that scoundrel Michael Anderson. "Dear, what is your name?" Mrs. Anderson inquired. "My name is Catherine," Catherine Williams replied with a sweet smile, thinking to herself, "Michael Anderson, you're dead tonight." The grandmother carefully inquired about how they met, and Catherine Williams replied that they had been introduced by friends and had enjoyed each other's company. Mrs. Anderson took Catherine Williams' hand, her eyes crinkling with a smile. "Our Michael has a difficult temperament. When he loses his temper, he's capable of anything. But he's not a bad person. He hasn't had a girlfriend in years, so he must be serious about you. Promise me you'll treat him well, all right?" Catherine Williams had never met such a kind elderly woman. Warmed by her words, she felt that such a gentle grandmother being bestowed upon Michael Anderson was clear proof that there was no justice in the world. She nodded, then, upon being asked about her work, smiled and replied, "I'm a resident physician in the Department of Urology at the First Choice Hospital. Being a doctor is wonderful. Mrs. Anderson, completely unfazed by the mention of urology, effusively praised the medical profession. As a doctor, you must be both careful and hygienic. Such respectable work. I'm so pleased. Catherine Williams was taken aback by the praise. She had never been treated with such kindness by a woman. Catherine Williams was, in fact, easily swayed. Touched and impulsive, she took Mrs. Anderson's hand. "Grandma, why don't you stay for lunch? I'll cook for you." Chapter 43, Her intelligence is truly worrisome. "You can cook?" Grandma Anderson's eyes widened in surprise. "I haven't seen many girls your age who can cook." Catherine Williams, filled with satisfaction from the praise, replied, "I know a little." "Grandma, what would you like to eat?" Grandma Anderson waved her hand dismissively. Anything is fine." At this time, the housekeeper in charge of cooking had just returned from the market, and Catherine Williams took the groceries, ran into the kitchen, and displayed her culinary skills. For savory dishes and one soup, a complete meal, and not simple dishes either, Catherine Williams meticulously prepared them, taking more than 3 hours before finally serving everything on the table. Considering the elderly palate, all were relatively light dishes, not spicy. Grandma Anderson, upon seeing the dishes with their excellent color, aroma, and taste, became even more satisfied with Catherine Williams, continuously praising her, wishing she could immediately usher her and Michael Anderson down the aisle. Actually, Catherine Williams felt a bit unaccustomed, feeling that Grandma Anderson was very much like her closest relative. Grandma Anderson gave her a warm, familial feeling, and the feeling of being praised by a loved one. These were things she had never had the opportunity to experience from childhood to adulthood, for a very simple reason: she had no mother, having been raised by a nanny since childhood. Having such a grandmother in the family, Catherine Williams began to feel a little envious of Michael Anderson. At this moment, Catherine Williams remembered the matter of the baby. Grandma hadn't mentioned it, meaning, she didn't know. While eating and chatting with Grandma Anderson, Catherine Williams probed. Grandma Anderson, from beginning to end, did not mention any topic related to the baby, so she was certain that Michael Anderson had not yet told his grandmother. Thinking it over carefully, Catherine Williams quickly understood. Grandma Anderson was eager for Michael Anderson to get married. If she heard that a woman was carrying Michael Anderson's child, she would definitely go to see her. Thus, Michael Anderson's scheme would be exposed. Therefore, Michael Anderson did not tell his grandmother about her pregnancy. This brat, Michael Anderson, with his cunning schemes, probably didn't expect his grandmother's surprise visit. Catherine Williams looked at her watch. Half a day, another half day until Michael Anderson returned. He was dead. Now, she would take advantage of this half day to figure out how to deal with Michael Anderson. After eating and sitting for a while, Grandma Anderson left. Before leaving, she instructed Catherine Williams, "Catherine, you absolutely must not tell Michael that I came here, otherwise he will be angry with me." The old woman's expression was like a mischievous child afraid of something but still wanting to play with it. Catherine Williams only felt it was incredibly endearing, so she cooperated with a smiling nod. "Yes, ma'am." After seeing Grandma Anderson off, Catherine Williams returned to lie on the sofa, continuing to think about how to handle Michael Anderson when he returned that afternoon. That bastard, deceiving her for so long, how could she not return the favor properly? Catherine Williams pondered all afternoon. Michael Anderson didn't return until late at night. Seeing Catherine Williams lying leisurely on the sofa, he didn't even bother to acknowledge her, just went straight upstairs. "Darling." Catherine Williams sat up, propped her hands on the armrest of the sofa, and looked at Michael Anderson on the stairs. "Coming back so late, were you having an affair? Or were you embezzling funds?" Repulsed by Catherine Williams's "I love you," Michael Anderson slowly turned, facing her. "What's wrong with you?" Catherine Williams blinked. "Nothing's wrong with me." "Then speak properly." Michael Anderson narrowed his eyes, a dangerous glint directed at Catherine Williams. "Otherwise, I'll assume you're seducing me." "What if I am seducing you?" Catherine Williams remained unafraid. prepared to expose Michael Anderson's deepest secret if necessary. "So, a few days without touching you, and you're starved, are you?" Catherine Williams nodded. "Darling, I'm so famished I'm not even picky anymore." Not one to lose control easily, Michael Anderson carefully observed Catherine Williams, searching for any inconsistencies. Yet, no matter how he looked, she seemed genuinely ravenous. Catherine Williams smirked, offering her most alluring smile, her gaze fixed on Michael Anderson, punctuated by occasional movements designed to weaken a man's resolve. However, Michael Anderson's self-control proved formidable. Even as Catherine Williams neared desperation, he remained motionless, watching her with amusement, as if anticipating her embarrassment. Patience exhausted, Catherine Williams crawled off the sofa and approached Michael Anderson. One hand casually rested on his shoulder, the other abruptly striking his groin. "If you still don't react, tomorrow I'll take you to the hospital and examine you myself. If that fails, I'll remove it for you." Gripping Catherine Williams's wrist, Michael Anderson demanded, "What are you trying to do?" He didn't believe her blatant seduction was without motive. "I want." Catherine Williams's voice dropped, soft, sultry, and seductive. "To sleep with you." With that, she kissed him, pushing him against the banister, and began undressing him. "Michael Anderson, act like a man. Damn it." Tonight, she was determined to set him ablaze with desire. In their close proximity, Michael Anderson could smell the faint scent of Catherine Williams's body wash. During their struggle, her bathrobe slipped, revealing most of her smooth, white shoulder and her slender, elegant neck. While not dressed provocatively, every pore of her being seemed to exude an intoxicating allure. Given the circumstances, why not satisfy the starved woman before him? Still basking in the afterglow, Catherine Williams, cheeks flushed and lips parted enticingly, appeared vulnerable and submissive, tempting Michael Anderson to take her again. He had to admit, certain aspects of this woman were quite pleasing. As Catherine Williams regained her senses, she glanced at Michael Anderson, his eyes filled with mischief. Hastily covering herself, she warned, "Michael Anderson, I'm warning you, don't try anything. You started it." Michael Anderson's perverse amusement seemed innate. Her evasiveness only fueled his desire. He pinned her down again without hesitation. "I think I should feed you properly. Get off." Catherine Williams scowled, glaring at Michael Anderson. Michael Anderson smirked, "You weren't like this a moment ago, girl. This is how this lady is now." Catherine Williams roared. "But I don't like you like this." "Michael Anderson, someone is coming to the house this afternoon. Your family." Left with no other recourse, Catherine Williams resorted to her ultimate tactic, lest she be tormented to death by Michael Anderson. Michael Anderson narrowed his eyes, quickly grasping the situation. His grandmother must have arrived. Catherine Williams knew about his exploitation of her, yet instead of exposing him, she used this to threaten him, intending to coerce him into marrying her. This woman's intelligence is truly worrisome. "A word of advice, don't try to threaten me, you'll regret it," Michael Anderson warned Catherine Williams. Catherine Williams, however, was not one to be threatened. She retorted, "You told your grandmother I'm your girlfriend to avoid the blind dates she arranged. I, being magnanimous, won't quibble with you over this little matter. However, you seem to have neglected to inform your grandmother about my pregnancy." "About that. I have her number, ##### Chapter 44, What a Strange Man, large." Michael Anderson stared fixedly at a certain point on Catherine Williams' body. "A mere B-cup, and you dare to boastfully claim it's large?" Catherine Williams gritted her teeth and yelled, "That's not the point." Damn it! Was he even listening to her? Michael Anderson replied, "Right now, I'm only concerned with my benefits. What I care about is the point." Michael Anderson, do you even understand what I'm saying? Catherine Williams frowned. "Do I need to repeat myself? I've figured out your scheme. And you feel proud of yourself? Michael Anderson countered. That's not the point either. The point is, this lady is threatening you. Understand? Catherine Williams was driven to the point of losing control. She genuinely wondered if Michael Anderson was even human. Michael Anderson suddenly laughed. Girl, it seems you still haven't grasped my words. I said, threaten me, and you'll regret it. He gripped Catherine Williams' chin. Before you contact my grandmother, I can make both you and the baby disappear. You shouldn't be telling me this. You should have told my grandmother directly about the pregnancy, then run away, waited for her to find me, and then reappeared. If your intelligence is insufficient, don't provoke me. So, still want to continue threatening me? The smile on Michael Anderson's lips was bone-chilling. In his 28 years of life, he had never been threatened by anyone. This woman truly didn't know the meaning of life and death. Catherine Williams closed her eyes, taking a deep breath. Michael Anderson, is there truly no one who can control you? I thought you'd already known that, Michael Anderson said, abruptly flipping Catherine Williams over. Pervert. Catherine Williams struggled. Get off. Michael Anderson, I won't let you get away with this. Michael Anderson chuckled, thrusting powerfully into Catherine Williams, his words laced with innuendo. Of course you won't let me get away with this. Pervert. Michael Anderson raised an eyebrow. If she insisted on calling him a pervert, then he couldn't help but give her a taste of what a true pervert was like. This was most certainly destined to be a long, arduous night. The city's lights gradually extinguished, and the land finally succumbed to a deep slumber. Time elapsed, and sunlight diffused from the horizon, awakening the world. Catherine Williams had forgotten how she drifted into sleep last night. This morning, as consciousness gradually returned, she only felt a throbbing ache in her lower back, as if she had been thoroughly beaten. Upon opening her eyes, the images of last night flooded her mind, and she pounded the bed in frustration. Before threatening Michael Anderson, she should have considered that the bastard wouldn't be subdued by any threats. Although she was reluctant to admit it, the act first, explain later approach he mentioned yesterday was indeed the most effective measure. Continuing to pound the bed, damn it. Sigh. A breath was suddenly heard beside her, followed by the man's slightly irritated voice, Miss, I tolerate you a little, and you immediately take a mile. Huh. Catherine Williams slowly turned her head, saw Michael Anderson, glared at him, and kicked. Why are you still here? Michael Anderson lay down. Look closely, this is my room. Catherine Williams looked around. It was indeed Michael Anderson's room. She closed her eyes in despair. Michael Anderson let out a cold laugh. Now that you're awake, get out. Damn it. Has anyone ever seen such a man? Aside from his looks, there's nothing good about him, so vile that one wishes Ultraman were real and would come to obliterate him. Seeing that Catherine Williams hadn't moved, Michael Anderson narrowed his eyes. Or do you want to relive last night? A smart girl. Doesn't suffer immediate losses, endure. Catherine Williams got up, yanked the blanket around herself, ignored Michael Anderson, and stormed out of the room, cursing incessantly along the way. She would definitely get revenge. The humiliation Michael Anderson inflicted upon her, she would reclaim from him, bit by bit. There would be a day when she would make Michael Anderson kneel and lick her feet. Slamming the door, she grabbed her clothes, went into the bathroom to wash up, and when she went downstairs, she saw Michael Anderson having breakfast. She coldly ignored him and went straight to work. But as she reached the door, Michael Anderson's voice suddenly called out from behind, come back. Humph. Just because Michael Anderson told her to come back, did she have to? Did he really think he was something? Catherine Williams put on her high heels and walked out. Michael Anderson gritted his teeth so hard his gums nearly bled, angrily chasing after her. Catherine Williams had already gotten into her car, and he could only drive after her. Catherine Williams quickly spotted Michael Anderson, hit the gas, and the roar of the sports car echoed loudly. Michael Anderson scoffed and accelerated, pursuing her. The outcome of this car chase was almost a foregone conclusion. Catherine Williams was intercepted by Michael Anderson. Michael Anderson's car brazenly blocked Catherine Williams' path. Catherine Williams stuck her head out and yelled, "Do you even know how to drive? Do you think you're so great because you know how to drift and power slide?" Michael Anderson got out of the car, walked to Catherine Williams' car door, and looked down at her. "Dare to play racing games with me? Did you forget to start your brain when you woke up, or did you forget to bring your IQ out of the house?" Catherine Williams was speechless, rolling her eyes. "My intelligence is none of your concern. What do you want?" "The matter of marriage registration," Michael Anderson stated. Catherine Williams froze, then looked at Michael Anderson in surprise. "You agreed?" "I'm just here to inform you that if grandmother learns about your pregnancy, I will immediately make you disappear from Gray City." The corner of Michael Anderson's lips curled into a cold smile, not at all like he was joking. Catherine Williams frowned. "Mr. Mayor, this is at most a threat. What does it have to do with marriage registration?" "What level?" Michael Anderson said, "If you don't tell grandmother about this, I will seriously consider your proposal. You play the role of my girlfriend well, shielding me from grandmother. I give you the certificate you want. When I find you no longer interesting, I will automatically sign the divorce papers, then disappear from my sight, understand?" "Understood." Catherine Williams started the car, not even looking at Michael Anderson as she said, "But there's something I also need you to know. I'm even more eager than you." The underlying meaning was, "Think about it quickly for me." Having said that, Catherine Williams hit the gas. The car, as if losing control, sped off, roaring down the road and then disappearing. Michael Anderson watched Catherine Williams' car drive away, smirked, got into his car, and went back to continue his breakfast. The sunlight grew increasingly intense. The city in the morning seemed unusually hurried, the flow of people and vehicles as if wanting to fill the world. Catherine Williams weaved through the traffic, parked her car in the hospital parking lot, and seeing that it was still early, ran out to buy breakfast to bring back to her office, avoiding a repeat of the previous stomachache incident. But Catherine Williams did not expect that. Upon arriving at the hospital and putting on her white coat, the first person she saw was Anna Collins. Anna Collins, seeing Catherine Williams, was also very surprised, asking in astonishment, "Miss Williams, are you a doctor here? What a small world." The next second, Catherine Williams suddenly came to her senses. She was regarding Anna Collins as a rival in love. Damn it. Crazy. Catherine Williams tried to suppress the impulsive urge to bang her head, forcing a smile. "Yes." Anna Collins looked at the breakfast in Catherine Williams' hand and asked with some doubt, "Why didn't you have breakfast with Michael? Don't you live together?" Chapter 45, Just to provoke you like this. How could Catherine Williams not hear the probing tone in Anna Collins' voice, and her eagerness to know the answer? She smiled. "We do live together, but this morning, we had a fight. So I ran away." This little girl, wouldn't these words just provoke her to death? Anna Collins seemed incredulous, chuckling. "A fight? Why did you two fight? What was it about?" "About marriage registration." Catherine Williams looked at Anna Collins, her smile brighter than a flower. "He wanted to register immediately, but I'm busy with work and don't have time to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau." "Humph, just to provoke her like this. Provoke her to death." Just as Catherine Williams predicted, the smile on Anna Collins' face stiffened. Catherine Williams once again silently praised herself 32 times. Catherine Williams. Well done. Oh, but, why did she deliberately provoke Anna Collins? Why did she want Anna Collins to misunderstand that she and Michael Anderson were deeply in love? Why did seeing her stiff smile feel so satisfying? Madness again, this is definitely madness again. Catherine Williams, no longer daring to relish the satisfaction derived from her cruel jest, fearing that a normal person like herself might become abnormal, shifted the topic. Miss Chu, you went to the hospital. I visited a patient. Anna Collins, her usual expression restored, stated, and conveniently collected my test results. I'm feeling slightly unwell and might require Dr. Campbell to perform a minor surgical procedure. Dr. Campbell, is it? Catherine Williams offered a knowing smile. If it's Dr. Campbell from the surgical department operating, you can rest assured. She told me that her family used to butcher pigs when she was young, so she's exceptionally skilled at dissections. One swift cut, and all problems are resolved. Anna Collins's smile now appeared somewhat strained, a stiff nod accompanying her words. Well then, Miss Williams, I'll be going. Catherine Williams, her teasing nature gratified and feeling a sense of overall well-being, waved to Anna Collins before returning to the break room to change into her white coat and begin her consultations. Gazing at the brilliant golden sunlight streaming through the window, Catherine Williams mused, another lewd yet beautiful day. After a lewd yet beautiful day, Catherine Williams returned to the break room, removed her white coat, rested briefly, and then drove to Michael Anderson's residence. The main gate, opened by the cook, allowed her free access. After scanning her fingerprint to enter the garage, she emerged from her car and noticed that the lights inside the house were on. For as long as she could remember, whenever she returned home after dark, the house was always shrouded in darkness, as if she had been living in solitary confinement since birth. Now, seeing the brightly lit house, she suddenly experienced a peculiar sensation. Most importantly, she didn't dislike this peculiar sensation. Reflecting further, Catherine Williams realized she was feeling somewhat sentimental today. Taking a deep breath, she entered the house. Michael Anderson was home, seated on the sofa, watching television and reading a magazine. As Catherine Williams pushed the door open and took a single step inside, his voice, without even glancing at her, reached her first. Returning this late, where have you been gallivanting? Catherine Williams rolled her eyes. I'm not your wife, why do you care how late I return? Don't forget, you desperately want to be my wife. Michael Anderson finally turned his gaze towards Catherine Williams. Not daring to answer, were you gallivanting with another man? Catherine Williams furrowed her brow. Can't your mind conceive of anything else? I had a surgical procedure this afternoon, hence the late return. Surgery? Michael Anderson's eyebrows furrowed even more deeply than Catherine Williams. If he recalled correctly, Catherine Williams was a female urologist who enjoyed teasing male patients and took particular pleasure in cutting them. The mere thought of a man lying bare-chested beneath Catherine Williams's gaze, her hands working on his body, sent Michael Anderson's blood rushing to his head, a tightness constricting his chest. Discomfort churning within him, Michael Anderson spoke sarcastically. Catherine Williams, you're quite delighted, aren't you? Which part of which man did you cut today? Catherine Williams pondered for a moment, then suddenly smiled. I castrated him. Now you know where I cut, don't you? If you're still unsure, I wouldn't mind demonstrating the answer with practical action. Michael Anderson's face instantly darkened. Hey! Michael Anderson called out to Catherine Williams, who was about to go eat. If you want to marry me, you'll have to change your profession. Even if their marriage was merely a transaction, he couldn't tolerate the thought of his nominal wife constantly interacting with strange men, discussing matters that shouldn't be disclosed. My entire life's work resides within the hospital's walls. Catherine Williams held her ground, her considerations for compromise confined solely within the boundaries of her non-negotiables. Is a conventional occupation beyond your capabilities? Michael Anderson inquired. What's so unconventional about my profession? At the very least, I can refrain from surgical procedures in the future. Catherine Williams paused, a sudden recollection surfacing. Speaking of surgery, Chu, or rather, your former girlfriend, has a hospital appointment, potentially requiring a surgical intervention. Michael Anderson furrowed his brow. What relevance does this hold for me? Merely informing you. Catherine Williams's words trailed off as she abruptly approached, scrutinizing Michael Anderson. Your composed demeanor, is it a facade or genuine? You wouldn't, as depicted in novels, feign indifference now, only to surreptitiously appear at the hospital during her surgery, would you? Michael Anderson, baffled by Catherine Williams's unfounded speculations, responded with a sardonic chuckle. If I were to surreptitiously appear at the hospital, my sole purpose would be your assassination. It's best you refrain from fulfilling my conjecture. Catherine Williams, dismissing Michael Anderson's flippant remark, issued a warning. Michael Anderson, it's not that I forbid any interaction between you and Anna Collins. Rather, until our matters are resolved, you cannot engage in any interaction with her. And if I do? Michael Anderson, intrigued, awaited Catherine Williams's response. And if you do? Catherine Williams scoffed twice. The hospital is under my jurisdiction. The underlying message, your ex-girlfriend is in my hands. Tread carefully, young man. Michael Anderson feigned indifference. As you wish, it's of no concern to me. Catherine Williams gazed at Michael Anderson's strikingly handsome features, her hands clenching involuntarily. Truly, not a shred of concern. Does your intellect necessitate repetition for comprehension? Michael Anderson's composure finally wavered. Further nonsense and I'll eliminate you on the spot. TSK. Catherine Williams straightened, muttering as she headed towards the dining area, how utterly heartless. Despite her mutterings, only Catherine Williams knew the subtle undercurrent of a certain delight within her. Yet, a perplexing element troubled Catherine Williams. She remained utterly oblivious to the source of her amusement. She couldn't fathom why Michael Anderson's indifference towards Anna Collins should evoke any joy within her. As sleep enveloped her, Catherine Williams, clutching her blanket, pondered, should I schedule a neurological examination tomorrow? After all, as a hospital employee, I'm entitled to a discounted rate, it wouldn't be exorbitant. Harboring this peculiar sentiment, Catherine Williams greeted the following day. The subsequent day, morning. Michael Anderson and Catherine Williams, adhering to their established morning ritual, engaged in a spirited exchange of verbal sparring, before departing for their respective workplaces. Upon parking, Catherine Williams encountered the head of surgery. Their usual interactions were limited, yet today, upon seeing her, he approached with an unusual eagerness. Hashtag Chapter 46, Observers, Eliminate Without Mercy. Catherine. The head of surgery beamed, his expression akin to a bee discovering nectar. Are you acquainted with Miss Chu of the Chu Corporation? Catherine Williams, initially prepared to deny any acquaintance, recalled Anna Collins and nodded. Yes, I am. Why do you ask? Yesterday, she engaged in a conversation with me regarding you. The head of surgery stated. Catherine Williams' scalp tightened. Dean Campbell, what did you tell her about me? She questioned, suspecting Anna Collins' distrust of her relationship with Michael Anderson, searching for vulnerabilities between them. Oh, nothing much, just about your work situation, then your boyfriend, your friends. As Dean Campbell continued, the smile on Catherine Williams' lips gradually faded. Catherine Williams knew that someone like Anna Collins was absolutely not a simple person, her intelligence certainly not low. Now that Dean Campbell had revealed everything about her, had Anna Collins detected the vulnerabilities between her and Michael Anderson? Damn it! If Anna Collins truly found a vulnerability, how could she patch it? Use antivirus software. Catherine Williams was restless and worried all day. She herself didn't understand why she didn't want her relationship with Michael Anderson exposed by Anna Collins. Or rather, she didn't want Anna Collins to harbor any hope from Michael Anderson. Why? The reason was simple, she had chosen Michael Anderson as her support. So Michael Anderson was hers, whoever dared to approach, whoever dared to fantasize, would be eliminated. Perhaps, her reluctance to have the fake lover relationship between herself and Michael Anderson exposed by Anna Collins was also for this reason, wasn't it? Thinking it through this way, Catherine Williams felt like a heavy stone had been lifted from her heart, her whole body relaxed. Catherine Williams' good mood persisted until she arrived at Michael Anderson's house. When she arrived, Michael Anderson hadn't returned yet. She sat alone on the sofa, flipping through magazines boredly. A moment later, the doorbell rang. The housekeeper was cooking in the kitchen. Catherine Williams ran to open the door. But Catherine Williams didn't expect the person standing outside to be Anna Collins. Anna Collins' expression made Catherine Williams think of 4 words: harboring malicious intentions. It seemed Anna Collins had indeed discovered the vulnerabilities between her and Michael Anderson, probably coming to expose her, right? Well, she wouldn't be polite either. Pressing the button to open the main gate, Catherine Williams crossed her arms, looking directly into Anna Collins' eyes. In the depths of Catherine Williams' eyes was a calmness without fear, even carrying a hint of a faint smile. In Anna Collins' eyes was a deep resentment. Their gazes locked like this, a contest to see whose psychology was stronger. Catherine Williams had grown up in a complex environment since childhood. The dangerous situations she had experienced were definitely more numerous than those of Anna Collins, this young lady from the medical field. In terms of psychology, Anna Collins was naturally no match for her. Finally, Anna Collins spoke first, asking with a laugh, "Miss Williams, aren't you going to invite me in?" "Oh, that's not right, I don't need your invitation, and you don't have the right to invite me. You're not the mistress of this house." As soon as her voice fell, Anna Collins tried to walk in. "Wait a minute." Catherine Williams calmly blocked Anna Collins' path. "I'm not the mistress of this house, so you consider yourself the mistress. On what basis do you dare to walk in so brazenly? I've investigated everything clearly." Anna Collins laughed coldly and aristocratically, refusing to be outdone. "You and Michael have known each other for less than a month. How could Michael discuss marriage with you? You're not Michael's girlfriend at all, and he has no intention of registering a marriage with you. So, Miss Williams, on what basis are you stopping me?" "Simple," Catherine Williams offered a bright smile. "I am inside Michael Anderson's residence, while you remain outside. From any perspective, I possess the advantage." Observing the situation, Anna Collins softened her tone. "Miss Williams, I merely wish to converse with you." Catherine Williams arched an eyebrow, inclining her body to gesture Anna Collins inside. In truth, she had nothing to discuss with Anna Collins, but she needed to transfer Michael Anderson to her. Upon entering, Anna Collins seated herself on the sofa without any formality. Catherine Williams, contemplating the woman's intentions, also sat, her mind rapidly processing the situation. She would not permit herself to be inferior to Anna Collins in any aspect. "How much money do you want?" Anna Collins abruptly inquired. Catherine Williams raised an eyebrow, then slowly crossed her legs. She understood Anna Collins's implication. Anna Collins presumed her involvement with Michael Anderson was financially motivated, thus offering her money to leave him. Catherine Williams sensed a discrepancy, and upon reflection, realized. Wasn't this the male protagonist's mother's line? How had it become the female supporting characters? Damn! Can money be used to assault someone? How much can you offer me? Catherine Williams countered, maintaining her relaxed posture. Anna Collins produced a check from her Chanel handbag, placing it before Catherine Williams. "This amount should suffice. Gather your belongings and leave immediately." Catherine Williams, smiling, took the check and tore it in half before Anna Collins's eyes, releasing the pieces to fall to the floor. "You!" Anna Collins was stunned, having assumed Catherine Williams would accept the check. "What about me?" Catherine Williams leaned back against the sofa, arms crossed. "Doesn't Michael Anderson prefer women with high IQs? With your IQ, he must have forgotten his glasses when he looked at you." "What do you mean?" Traces of anger appeared on Anna Collins's face, unaccustomed to such disdain. "It means you're foolish," Catherine Williams stated bluntly. "How much did you offer? 5 million? 10 million? Ha! Did you not consider that Michael Anderson's wealth, and the title of Mrs. Mayor, are worth far more than that? You're clinging to Michael for his money. Anna Collins finally erupted, pointing at Catherine Williams. What tricks did you use to bewitch him? He's never even considered someone like you. Catherine Williams blinked, swinging her foot silently. Shameless woman. Anna Collins's anger escalated, as Catherine Williams anticipated. Don't think Michael genuinely cares for you. You've known each other less than a month. His attention is merely a pretense for my benefit. Your triumph will be short-lived. Pausing briefly, Anna Collins shrieked, I will reveal your true nature to Michael. He knows my true nature better than you do. Catherine Williams remained unfazed. I've already told him I desire the title of Mrs. Mayor. Yet, he still allows me to stay. In fact, we are currently discussing marriage. Registration. Anna Collins shook her head in disbelief. Impossible. Michael could never marry a woman like you. Catherine Williams stood up. Finished barking? Have some water and leave. I don't have time for you. Oh, and one more thing, Michael Anderson would rather marry a woman like me than exchange 2 more words with someone like you. Catherine Williams's last sentence, like a sharp sword, pierced Anna Collins's heart. Chapter 47, Disgust. Contempt. Anna Collins constantly belittled Catherine Williams, showing utter contempt. Yet, in her eyes, Catherine Williams was nothing, but the reality of Catherine Williams living with Michael Anderson, and the slap she received, was a harsh awakening. With this slap delivered, Anna Collins's expression changed drastically. Catherine Williams, her perverse pleasure satisfied, turned and ascended the stairs. Child's play. Trying to humiliate me? No chance. Even with a high-level predator like Michael Anderson, after he took advantage, she could bite back. Someone like Anna Collins should obediently bathe and go to sleep. Why invite humiliation? Watching Catherine Williams's retreating figure, a surge of resentment welled up within Anna Collins. Her eyes inadvertently glanced outside, catching the headlights. Michael Anderson had returned. Stop! Anna Collins rose, pursuing Catherine Williams on the staircase, grabbing her arm. Michael could never be interested in a woman like you. Know what word describes someone like you? Cheap. A concise phrase, a sparrow wanting to become a phoenix. Delusions of grandeur. Catherine Williams didn't turn around, but Anna Collins's words ignited a fury within her. A strange woman, on what basis does she speak to her this way? Even her mother had never spoken to her like this. Let go, Catherine Williams forcefully flung off Anna Collins's grip. A sudden, piercing scream, followed, further words stifled. What made her want to applaud was that Michael Anderson pushed open the door just as Anna Collins's scream echoed. Catherine Williams and Michael Anderson watched Anna Collins tumble down the stairs, accompanied by a series of horrifying sounds. Michael Anderson reacted swiftly, rushing towards the staircase. Anna Collins's injuries, their locations unclear, stained the stairs with blood. Catherine Williams was stunned. While she never allowed herself to be harmed, she never intended to exploit her strength against the weak. Michael Anderson ultimately failed to reach Anna Collins in time. She landed at the bottom of the stairs, a final, agonizing cry escaping her lips. Only then did Michael Anderson reach her, helping her sit up. Anna Collins, as if encountering God, clutched his hand, gasping, Michael, save me. Where are you hurt? Michael Anderson inquired, frowning. Anna Collins shook her head. I don't know. It hurts so much. Don't be afraid. Michael Anderson lifted Anna Collins. I'll take you to the hospital immediately. Anna Collins leaned against Michael Anderson's chest, nodding, tears welling up. Then, while he was distracted, she glanced at Catherine Williams. Catherine Williams, still in a daze, was suddenly awakened by Anna Collins's gaze. She understood the meaning in Anna Collins's eyes. "Look, Michael still cares about me. You, get lost." In this moment, Catherine Williams briefly suspected Anna Collins's intent. However, this thought was immediately dismissed. Anna Collins, a wealthy heiress, how could she be so heartless as to allow herself to fall down the stairs? As Catherine Williams pondered, Michael Anderson carried Anna Collins, preparing to leave, but before departing, he gave Catherine Williams a deep look. Catherine Williams was stunned once more. She couldn't decipher the meaning in Michael Anderson's eyes, it was too complex. Was it surprise? Disgust? Contempt? Mockery? Or, perhaps all of these? The room was empty, even the crystal chandelier appeared utterly desolate. Michael Anderson's cold, disgusted gaze, as if affixed to Catherine Williams's mind with superglue, could not be dispelled, no matter how hard she tried. She was no stranger to Michael Anderson's frightening gaze. For instance, when he repeatedly threatened her life, his eyes held a similar terrifying intensity. But this time was different. Within the depths of his eyes resided profound disgust and disappointment, as if she were a woman devoid of shame. Yet, it seemed she had no way to explain, Anna Collins's fall down the stairs was entirely her fault. Michael Anderson must surely hate her to death now. Catherine Williams took a deep breath and sat in the living room, waiting for Michael Anderson. She sat on the sofa, hugging her knees, her chin resting on them, her 1.68-meter frame curled into a small ball, the television off, simply sitting there. Michael Anderson returned quite late. Catherine Williams rose from the sofa and, observing him changing his shoes at the door, inquired, "How is Anna Collins?" Michael Anderson changed his shoes himself, ignoring her. Catherine Williams pursed her lips, "I will take responsibility for the medical expenses." Only then did Michael Anderson look towards Catherine Williams, scoffing, "Do you think the Chu family lacks such a paltry sum? That wasn't my intention. I simply want to take responsibility for my actions." Catherine Williams had never been one to shirk accountability. Michael Anderson approached Catherine Williams, lifting her chin, "You are indeed bolder than I imagined, daring to admit it. I admit her fall was due to me, but it wasn't intentional." Catherine Williams forcefully swatted Michael Anderson's hand away. "Michael Anderson, Anna Collins directed such outrageous words at me, even if she hadn't fallen, I would have slapped her. If these matters are to be settled, Anna Collins should be the one confronting me. You have no right to speak to me in such a manner." Michael Anderson finally erupted in anger, "On the verge of death, and you still have the leisure to discuss rights with me?" Catherine Williams, not doubting Michael Anderson's genuine intent to harm her, retreated a step, "I will leave tonight." With that, she turned and ascended the stairs to gather her belongings. Michael Anderson's handsome brows furrowed, the anger on his face intensifying. He abruptly seized Catherine Williams's hand. "Stop. This matter isn't settled, you're not going anywhere. Stay here, I'll deal with you when I have time." Having spoken, Michael Anderson, giving Catherine Williams no opportunity to respond, flung her hand away and proceeded directly upstairs to his room. With a slam of the door, Michael Anderson irritably loosened his tie. Since that woman moved in, he had constantly wished for her swift departure, yet when she offered to leave of her own accord, what did he do? What on earth was he doing just now? Frustration, like vines coiling around a tree and ascending, constricted Michael Anderson's breath. He entered the bathroom, turned on the shower, and let the cold water cascade down. He closed his eyes, standing motionless beneath the stream, attempting to regain his composure. Unable to find peace was Catherine Williams as well. After Michael Anderson went upstairs, Catherine Williams also returned to her room, where she lay sprawled on the bed, staring blankly at the ceiling. In her 24 years of life, this was the first time she had unintentionally injured someone. Although she had never been one to suffer losses, she had also never intended to take advantage of others. Anna Collins's fall down the stairs carried an undeniable responsibility for her, regardless of the extent of Anna Collins's hurtful words. The most significant factor was Michael Anderson's gaze directed at her. Disturbed by a multitude of strange emotions, Catherine Williams slept poorly. The following day, she awoke early and, to avoid encountering Michael Anderson, went to the hospital without breakfast. Following the roar of the sports car's departure, the house settled back into silence. At precisely 7 a.m., Michael Anderson opened his eyes, performed his usual routine of washing and dressing, and descended the stairs, only to find Catherine Williams absent. He frowned, inquiring of the housekeeper, "Mrs. Bethy, where is that woman?" Mrs. Bethy shook her head. "Miss Williams? I haven't seen her since early this morning." Chapter 48, The Successful Scheme. All right. Michael Anderson turned and ascended the stairs, directly pushing open Catherine Williams's door. Observing some of her belongings still on the table, he then went back downstairs. During breakfast, Michael Anderson, suddenly recalling something, called Mrs. Bethy over and asked, "Did Anna and that woman argue yesterday?" Catherine Williams had mentioned Anna Collins's excessively harsh words. Although he had feigned indifference, he still desired to know their content. "I was cooking in the kitchen at the time, I'm not entirely clear about the situation," Mrs. Bethy replied. Having received no useful information, Michael Anderson did not inquire further, simply nodding. "You may return to your work." Concurrently, at the hospital, Catherine Williams, carrying breakfast into the hospital, encountered Dr. Campbell from the surgical department. Dr. Campbell enthusiastically informed Catherine Williams, "Miss Chu has been admitted due to an injury. It seems she fell down the stairs. The injuries aren't too severe, a minor fracture and some scrapes and bruises. Would you like to visit her?" Catherine Williams, surprised that Michael Anderson had brought Anna Collins to this hospital, after inquiring about Anna Collins's condition from Dr. Campbell and learning that there would be no permanent effects, returned to her office. She couldn't help but wonder what Dr. Campbell's reaction would be if she revealed that she had pushed Anna Collins down the stairs. However, should she visit Anna Collins to clarify yesterday's events? She still felt that Anna Collins's smile yesterday had been strangely unsettling, as if a scheme had come to fruition. Working while simultaneously hesitating, by lunchtime, Catherine Williams's feet involuntarily carried her towards the inpatient ward. After inquiring with a nurse about Anna Collins's room, Catherine Williams gradually approached. Just as she was about to knock, Anna Collins's voice suddenly emanated from within, "I don't know either." Anna Collins spoke with a hint of excitement, "I meant to take 2 steps back to grab the handrail, but I missed it and fell. But it's all for the best. Doesn't this make Michael appear more genuine? Now, he'll definitely hesitate before deciding whether to marry that woman." Catherine Williams could only think of 2 words, "Oh, God." Like a small monster resurrected in an instant, Catherine Williams kicked open the hospital room door and stormed in. A startled woman rushed to stop her, but Catherine, enraged, flung the woman's hand aside and advanced towards Anna Collins. "You did this on purpose, didn't you?" A cold smile played on Catherine Williams' lips. "You knew Michael Anderson was back, and you wanted to create the illusion that I pushed you down the stairs for him to see. A wonderful performance, pity your acting skills aren't up to par. Damn it. Why didn't this bitch end up paralyzed?" Exposed, Anna Collins' face darkened. She looked at Catherine Williams for a moment, then, perhaps feeling there was nothing left to hide, admitted frankly, "Acting skills not up to par." Michael believed it completely. "He witnessed your vicious nature firsthand. You haven't seen my most vicious side yet." With these words, Catherine Williams left the hospital room. Catherine Williams strode away, her steps swift and determined. How could she be so foolish? How could she believe that Anna Collins wouldn't harm herself? For Michael Anderson, this woman was capable of anything. Michael Anderson actually wanted to settle the score with her. She even offered to take responsibility. Damn it. Settle the score, my ass. Take responsibility, my foot. Catherine Williams' inner turmoil raged on until the end of the workday and still hadn't subsided by the time she arrived at Michael Anderson's house. Michael Anderson was already home. He had just hung up the phone with Anna Collins when he heard Catherine Williams arrive. Recalling their conversation, his face immediately hardened, and he stared coldly at Catherine Williams as she entered. Already irritated, Catherine Williams exploded at his look. "What are you staring at?" she yelled. Michael Anderson, surprised by her defiance, responded icily, "Did you go see Anna today?" "So what if I did?" Catherine Williams lifted her chin, meeting his gaze directly. "Damn it. If she hadn't gone to see Anna Collins, she'd probably still be feeling guilty. Did you threaten her?" Michael Anderson sneered, stepping closer to Catherine Williams. "You said I haven't seen your most vicious side, He gripped her chin. "Let me see just how vicious you can be. Do you believe what Anna Collins said?" Catherine Williams asked. "Or do you think I should believe you?" Michael Anderson's eyes filled with mockery, as if trusting Catherine Williams was the most foolish thing in the world. "You have crossed the line." His expression darkened, and his grip tightened. "Don't think that just because you're pregnant, I won't kill you." Catherine Williams felt her heart plummet into an abyss. Michael Anderson wanted to kill her. For a woman full of lies. Damn it. Before that happens, I'll kill him first. You have crossed my boundaries. Catherine Williams pushed Michael Anderson's hand away. "Michael Anderson, do not forget, Anna Collins is currently hospitalized. The hospital is my territory." "Your territory? I ask you, is the hospital not in Gray City?" "And Gray City, whose territory is it?" Michael Anderson sneered. "If you dare to do anything to Anna, do you believe I'll kill you?" "I do." Catherine Williams smiled. "But do you understand medicine? If I were to truly do something, would you even know?" Michael Anderson's grip on her chin tightened abruptly, his knuckles white, as if he intended to crush it. The pain was intense, but Catherine Williams gritted her teeth, refusing to cry out. Michael Anderson, observing Catherine Williams's stubbornness, grew more irritated, his grip intensifying. Still, she remained silent, her expression defiant. The struggle continued, neither yielding. Catherine Williams taunted him, "Go ahead, kill me. Michael Anderson, if you let go, you're not a man." Michael Anderson released Catherine Williams with a shove. She stumbled backward, but before she could speak, he turned and ascended the stairs. Watching his retreating figure, a wave of resentment washed over Catherine Williams. "Stop!" Catherine Williams pursued him, intercepting him at his door. "Michael Anderson, what if I told you Anna Collins is deceiving you? That she fell down the stairs intentionally? Would you believe me? I don't believe everyone is as manipulative as you." Michael Anderson scoffed, pushing past her into his room. Staring at the closed door, Catherine Williams found herself unexpectedly saddened. Why be sad? It was his prerogative whom he chose to believe. His belief, or lack thereof, held no real significance for her. Taking a deep breath, Catherine Williams returned to her room, lying down on the plush bed, yet sleep evaded her. Michael Anderson's cold dismissal replayed in her mind. Another sleepless night. Restlessly tossing and turning, Catherine Williams began to seriously contemplate the entire situation, her relationship with Michael Anderson. #### Chapter 49, I don't need this anymore. Their relationship had been a twisted coincidence. A chance encounter, a mutual exploitation, a near agreement, and now, the reappearance of his former lover. Michael Anderson had once cared for this woman, otherwise, he wouldn't be so resistant to her explanation. If this continued, the probability of their reconciliation was 100%. What would become of her then? An obstacle to their reunion? He would undoubtedly discard her without hesitation, this obstacle, perhaps even bury her to be rid of her completely. Their agreement was unattainable, so why remain, passively awaiting her fate? With this realization, Catherine Williams sprang from the bed and began packing. She worked quickly. Within 15 minutes, her belongings were stowed in her suitcase. Changing her clothes, she dragged the suitcase downstairs, ready to leave. The rolling of Catherine Williams's suitcase wheels across the wooden floor resonated, transmitting the sound into Michael Anderson's room and striking his eardrum. Lying awake in bed, Michael Anderson, upon hearing such a distinct sound, threw back the covers and hurried out in pursuit. He observed Catherine Williams descending the staircase, making her way outside. A surge of anger coursed through Michael Anderson, the intensity causing the veins on his forehead to throb. He swiftly descended the stairs and seized Catherine Williams's arm. Catherine Williams, eager to depart and irritated by being restrained, attempted to wrench her arm free from Michael Anderson's grasp. "Release me. You intend to leave?" Michael Anderson, experiencing an unprecedented level of fury, his eyes blazing, yet maintained a chillingly somber expression that evoked both fear and coldness. Unintimidated, Catherine Williams responded with a chilling laugh, "I intend to leave. What do you propose to do about it?" "I cautioned you against leaving before this matter is resolved," Michael Anderson stated, pausing before bellowing, "Who granted you permission to leave?" He added under his breath, "Attempting to leave in the dead of night, damn it. Who dares to prevent my departure?" Catherine Williams retorted. "Michael Anderson, I, too, have warned you. Do not touch me. Let go. I demand to leave this wretched place."